Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in good spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that, guys. We got a lot of things to be positive and be excited about every day. The air in your lungs, the heart beating in your chest, it is a beautiful thing. Let me just say that real quick. All right. Another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that and keep on saying that, especially if it's a bad day for you. If it's a bad Friday, just say, hey, I'm lucky to be alive. Regardless, things could be worse. Let's not forget that. All right. But anyway, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's about damn time. It's about doggone time. Okay? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to every single last one of y'all. Okay? Man, oh man, we are finally here. We are finally here. We've been waiting for this all freaking week, y'all. All freaking week. So we got to get into this conversation. So do me a favor, okay? The mule, okay, is taking the stand, and he's got some things to say. He's already said some very bad things already, y'all. It's not good. It's looking pretty bad for Diddy so far. So we're going to get into this conversation. So do me a favor. So much that I decided to start early. Yes. So much that I decided to start early. Real talk. No bueno. It's no bueno, cabrón. No bueno. Okay, so please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, make sure you hit that follow or like button, whatever it is on those respective platforms. They're all various things, okay? Make sure you're following, make sure you're liking the page, etc. All right? Of course, hit that like button down below underneath here on my YouTube channel, okay? If you are watching on this YouTube channel, make sure you're subscribed. All right. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. There's going to be a gang of clips coming out over this weekend, over the next couple weeks from these shows, etc. So make sure you are subscribed to both channels. Make sure that that notification bell is set to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. Okay. It's be random though. Okay. So make sure you're subscribed and that notification bell is on. Hit that join button down below. Become a member, become a member. Okay, become a member of the family. Support the channel if you can. All right, do that. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. pascalmerch.com. Okay, pascalmerch.com. Custom-made hoodies, t-shirts by this man right here. These hands. I'm a workaholic, guys. It's a serious problem. Anyway, PascalMerch.com, all right? Let us get into the conversation, okay? We got things to talk about, guys. This is quite the morning. Yes, we are finally... Oh, thank you. Thank God. Okay, it's about doggone time, okay? Oh, my God. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm very excited about this, okay, is because it's been a doggone week. It's been a week. It's been a week. Can we all agree on that? It's been a week, has it not? It's been a very boring week. In fact, the reason why it's been boring is because we've been listening to nothing but special agents this entire time, saying a whole bunch of stuff that, yeah, it's cool. We're just going through all these charts, and they're like, yeah, and so Diddy had a conversation here with KK, and then he said, where my McDonald's at? And then she said, oh, it's right downstairs on the counter in the kitchen. Why don't you go get it? You see what I'm saying? It's been a lot of that. And don't get me wrong, there's been moments where we've been seeing, okay, bad things are going down, right? That KK is involved with certain things, or they're showing proof positive of hotel bills being paid by Diddy, cash being withdrawn, cash being paid out for these S workers, for, people like Cowboys and Angels, The Punisher, Sly, and all those things, right? We've already seen all of that. But we all have been waiting at bated breath at the edge of our seat for this testimony that Brendan Paul, Diddy's assistant mule, was supposed to give freaking days ago. All right. It was planned that he was supposed to be on earlier this week. But no. Defense, I think, was dragging days. That's what I think. That's why they're going, well, let's look at these charts. Can't you see that this spot right here doesn't have enough information in comparison to the other parts of the chart? Special Agent Pendon, don't you not see that you did so much coverage over here, but not over here? That seems weird. That's kind of odd, don't you think? It was, who cares? In my personal opinion, who cares? Maybe they just didn't have the information for that situation. Maybe the stuff was not documented at that time, but they were going through that stuff with a fine-tooth comb, because I feel like they were dreading this moment in time where Brendan Paul, the final witness, you could basically say the final boss, of the prosecution's game, of their case. They were trying to avoid him coming up, which was inevitable. No matter what, it was inevitable. So much that Wednesday, right? Wednesday, trial was canceled solely because one of the jurors had vertigo. Literally. Now everything's back to normal. It looks like this guy, the vertigo, came and went, which is great. But at the same time, it just doesn't make any sense, right? That this particular juror, just saying what I said on Wednesday, right? We were all waiting for Brendan Paul to take the stand, and it did not happen solely because of some mother-loving vertigo. So, of course, in my mind, I'm like, well, aren't there boxes or something like that they're supposed to check off, just to make sure, like, do you have any ailments that would impair you in being able to perform as a juror for this trial? I feel like that's an important piece of information, especially when you are on a very tight timeline, a very tight court trial, right? You're trying to get everything done. You don't want this to last for 3 weeks or 3 months, okay? You just want it to last for 2, right? Or less than 2, if possible, right? But no, they don't have that. They didn't ask that. So, of course, the vertigo thing, kind of trash, in my personal opinion. Kind of trash. And it really burned my cookies. I don't know about you guys, but it really did. I was ready for some testimony, and it didn't happen. But now, and then yesterday was Juneteenth, so, shout out to Juneteenth. Freedom! Right? Yes. Freedom I can't lose. Oh, freedom I can't lose. Now, here's the thing, Beyonce. But here's the thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your Juneteenth. Hopefully it was enjoyable. Hopefully it was relaxing. Hopefully it wasn't you just catching up on all the things that you didn't get to do this past weekend, that you actually got to kick up your feet and binge watch one of your favorite stories. But today is the day that we've all been waiting for. Brendan Paul has now has taken the stand, has took the stand, has been tooken the stand. Okay, he is testifying. All right, and it is everything I wanted it to be and more. There's a lot that's being said here, and it's really bad. So we're going to get into this in just a minute. But Brittany, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. And just like Brittany, come on, y'all. Consider becoming a member. Hit that join button down below. Support the channel if you can. That'll be greatly appreciated. All right. We are working hard out here in these streets, okay, to give you guys the information that you need, okay? Shoot. Yesterday was glorious. I sort of got some sleep, okay? But again, I'm happy that we had Juneteenth yesterday, okay? It was nice to just get some rest. This trial has been taking up a lot, and then the stuff that's going on in Iran and Iraq. Are we going to war? Are we not going to war? There's been a lot of that BS going on, right? Which, of course, we're still covering and keeping an eye on as well. But there's been just the news be newsing lately, okay? And then there's also the Fat Joe allegations that just came out, which is absolutely insane. Which, of course, we are going to talk about that in a little bit, okay? So, yeah, I mean, classic. I hope it's not true. You want to know why? Real quick, I think it's going to really anger a lot of people, okay? There's a lot of people that are going to be, and this is what's interesting. It's joining both. It's bringing a lot of people together, both red and blue. A lot of people who are conservative, a lot of people who are liberal, a lot of them are kind of joining in the middle with this situation with Iran and Israel, and whether or not Trump is going to, get America involved. It's very interesting, right? That the reaction from the court of public opinion politically, right? It's very interesting that a lot of people are on the same page. Like, yo, please, let's not go to war. Also, you said that you were going to not have us ever go into war, that you were going to try to keep things peaceful. And that's not happening now. What the heck? This is not what you said in your campaigns. At least this is what the people, the court of public opinion is reacting to and how they're saying it out here in these streets, okay? Don't at me. I'm just repeating what's being said in the streets right now. People are feeling some type of way about that for sure. But again, we will talk about that in another show, in another live, in another conversation. But it is time for another episode of As the Gavel Strikes. Yes, it's time, okay? We're going to talk about that for sure. Also, I do have somebody on the docket for today. We do have Dwit Gilmore coming into the show and giving us his thoughts on everything that's going on in the trial. So Dwit will be on the show. If you don't know, he is the one who wrote the book, The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me. He's the one who was chased down by Puff or Diddy and a bunch of his goons. There was a high-speed chase through the streets of Manhattan and all that. It was absolutely insane. He's been on the show a couple times. He's going to be on the show to talk about the trial and his thoughts about what's going on. So shout out to DeWitt. I'm looking forward to having him on the show. So be sure to tune in, okay? Because he'll be on a little bit later on in the show to talk about everything that's going on. So we got to get into this, okay? All right. But first, Mo, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. We got to get into this. Okay. There's been a lot that's going on. Okay. And, of course, we need to take a look. First off, this is what he looks like right now. Okay. This is the mule. This is white boy Brendan. Okay. Like white boy Rick. If you don't know about the white boy Rick story, you need to go check it out. That stuff is wild. All right. But this is Brendan Paul with his Prada wraparound sunglasses. Yep. A little shout out to the Matrix right there. But nonetheless, he is coming in. He sat down and he is saying a gang of stuff. So hold on to your butts because this stuff is wild. Okay. We got to get straight to the beginning. And there's some information about a juror, some issues with a juror as well. So this is very interesting too. Now, if you guys don't remember, there was another juror that was possibly on the chopping block. Why that person was possibly on the chopping block? Because he received text messages from an unknown phone number asking him or them directly if this particular person was actually juror number 6. Remember, there was a juror that got kicked out because he lied. That mother lover lie. Okay? He lied. That's it. He lie. So that juror got kicked out. But the thing is a lot of people, powers that be, the bad people out here, were literally reaching out to these jurors. Don't know how they got their information or their phone numbers, but they were reaching out to these dudes. All right. They reached out to this particular juror saying, hey, are you juror number 6? This juror made this, was very open and very transparent with the court. The judge found out and he got very upset about it because, of course, what the F is going on? How is this person getting random text messages from an unknown number asking him or asking them if they're juror number 6, which is really, really bad. Okay. So now we're finding out, if I'm correct, this particular juror is going to stay. Okay. That was a decision that they were supposed to make a couple days ago. And now it seems like the judge has finally made that decision saying, hey, you know what? This juror did nothing wrong. From my understanding, this juror has done nothing wrong. We're going to let him stay or let them stay. Right. So the judge said, well, first off, he denies defense application related to juror number 7. Now, what's interesting about this is that this juror, the defense wanted him out. That's the other thing that's very interesting, too. Now, here's the other thing, too. This particular person is a man. Okay. So, again, defense application came earlier this week regarding a man who was juror number 7 at the time. So I'm assuming, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I'm assuming that this juror happens to be a male that comes from the Caucasus Mountains. Okay. His lineage comes from the Caucasus Mountains. That means he's white. Okay. And the defense wants him out because he is a white man. Now, or just solely because he's white. That could very well be it. That they're like, nope, we need to get rid of him. He's white. He needs to be out. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay. That's the vibe I'm getting. Because the defense is going out of their way to be like, Your Honor, please get rid of juror number 7. You mind? You mind getting rid of him? Why would they go out of their way to get rid of this man? Something interesting about that. To me, I feel like it has to do with something about his race. I don't know if he walked in wearing a MAGA shirt. I don't know. Okay. Maybe he looks like a good old boy. I don't know. Right? Like he just came fresh from a hunting trip. I don't know. But something about it made the defense feel some type of way to the point where they put in an application to request for juror number 7 to be kicked out, gone for good, which is interesting, right? Kareem, we'll talk about Tyler Perry in another show for show. Okay, we're circling back to that again for real. All right, but again, that's very interesting, nonetheless. Okay, so the judge said the juror was questioned. In a trial, a juror defense application is when a defendant's lawyer requests to have a juror excused from the jury. So they literally are like, we don't like him. We don't like juror number 7. We want his ass out. And so he was kicked out, or he did not get kicked out. He got denied, which is interesting, right? Yes, I got my coffee. My coffee's right here. Come on now. Thank you for the friendly reminder. Okay. We out here. Okay. We ready today. All right. But real quick, Michelle, thank you so much. Welcome to the family. And thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. I appreciate it. Again, pay it forward. If she just gave you some love. That's very kind of her. Pay it forward. Okay. That's all I ask. Okay. So, I did say that, Grego. I said that he has no idea who it is, an unknown phone number. Okay. But at the same time, I think it's interesting that jury, you got to remember, let me just say this because Grego said something. So let me just respond to that really quick. First off, I said that he received a text message by an unknown phone number, did not know who that number was. I made that abundantly clear in the very beginning. Number two, here's the thing, the reason why I think that this man may be white and maybe, first off, there's not many people, it's not a very diverse, it's not a heavily diverse jury pool. Second, the thing is that when prosecution wanted juror number 6 gone, juror number 6 was a black male. The defense was going out of their way to try to keep that particular juror in the jury. They were doing everything they could, right? I feel like they were playing the race card. He's black. We need to keep him. We need to keep that black male. He's a black male, especially. We need to keep him there as much as we can. But then they put out an application to get rid of juror number 7. That doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? Unless this particular juror number 7 happens to be black, but maybe was scoffing or making it very apparent that he was disgusted by Diddy. We don't know. I'm just saying it could be a safe bet that this also juror number 7 happens to be a white male. Because why would they go out of their way to try to kick this particular one out? That's all I'm saying. Just seems a little bit weird. Okay. But nonetheless, you never know. He could be black too. But then at the same time, that's the whole purpose. That's the whole point. They want to have more faces, more, as many black and brown faces, as much diversity as they can have in that jury pool. That's just what I truly think. Okay. So again, why would they write out a whole application being like, can you get juror number 7 out if he's black too? That'd be weird. When they're like, no, not juror 6, keep him. You just want to get rid of him because he's black. See what I'm saying? That's at least what they were saying when they were talking about juror number 6. So just process of elimination. You know what I mean? Just saying that out loud. Okay. Happy Friday, everybody. But, like I said, just very interesting that the defense would go out of their way to file an application requesting that juror number 7 be ousted. That's something that's very interesting. So, court will give proposed jury charge today. So, today, the court will provide the defense and prosecution the proposed jury charge guidelines by the judge to the jury before deliberations. So, the judge said the proposed charge will have instructions regarding potential modifications the defense and prosecution may have, and both parties will have the opportunity to ensure nothing is missing. So, interesting. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, shall we? All right. Now, former Diddy assistant Brendan Paul takes the stand. So he's wearing a blue suit, white shirt, and no tie. Yeah, he's a rebel. He's so fashion forward. I love it. Really bringing the color out of his eyes. But anyway, as he takes the witness stand for direct examination by Slavic, okay, prosecutor Slavic. All right. This portion of the testimony is expected to last about 90 minutes. So we're going to go through the transcript stuff here in just a little bit. I promise you. Okay. But let's get into the broad strokes of information so far. Okay. So he was hired to work on food and physical conditioning. So Paul said Diddy's team seized upon his background as a college basketball player, having him work on food and workout planning for the music mogul, for Diddy. Now, Paul, he played 2 seasons at the end of the Syracuse Orange bench from 2018 to 2020. So he's an athlete. Okay. He an athlete. Is he a good basketball player? I don't know. But he got to play collegiate ball, that's a big deal. So Paul told to get in to get out. Okay. So the job would be time consuming, Paul testified. He said he was told to quote unquote get in to get out and forget about any personal life. I mean, that's kind of what we've been hearing from other personal assistants, right? The witness said he was told to break up with any girlfriend he might have and say goodbye to his family for his 24/7 job as Diddy's assistant. So they're like, forget about getting laid. You ain't going to have time getting laid. So say bye-bye to that little girlfriend, okay? Say bye to your parents because you ain't going to see them no more. You're going to be 24/7 Diddy all day or a day. And what Diddy wants, Diddy gets, because this is his world. We just happen to be living in it, right? We've heard all those things before. He ended up working for the music mogul from late 2022 until March 25th of last year. The former college basketball player started at a $75,000 a year gig, and then it topped out at $100,000 by January of this year. Isn't it interesting that we heard about Capricorn Clark? She didn't really make a whole lot in the very beginning. It was like 55, something like that, $50,000 to $55,000 a year, right? Something along the lines of that. And then eventually she got more money, but it was only when she got more. She only got paid more and got a raise when she got bigger jobs. But being an assistant to Diddy, she got paid crap money, right? So again, when he started off with this job, $75,000 a year, he got paid off that. He got paid way more than any of the female assistants, personal assistants that Diddy actually had. Is that time changed and he was like, well, these guys deserve more money over time? Maybe that's it too. Or maybe he just had better or more respect for men and just thought that the women don't deserve the money that they're getting. Maybe that's what it was. You got to realize the way that he would treat women in these freak-offs, these hotel nights, whatever you want to call them, clearly, or let's not forget the infamous intercontinental video with Cassie, clearly he has some sort of aggression and frustration towards the women, okay? You can see it all throughout. I mean, his through line is the theme, right? His through line is very much like, they ain't nothing. Pimps up, hoes down. You feel me? That's kind of his whole vibe, right? It's kind of his whole vibe. All the other guys got paid pretty decently in the very beginning, and then they got better. They got raises as things went on, right? But the women, not so much, right? So, Paul recalls days without sleeping and using substances. So he testified that the longest he went without sleep working for Diddy was 3 days with a few naps. Well, that's interesting because didn't we have somebody go for 5 days? Didn't Capricorn Clark, if I'm correct, go 5 days with no sleep until the point where she hit a breaking point where she's like, I was experiencing my equilibrium was off. My eyesight was getting all blurry. You know what I mean? The sleep deprivation, that's a form of torture, by the way. Sleep deprivation is a form of torture. Okay? So again, someone who is being put through the ringer like this is insane. He says, I was young, so I was able to handle it, he explained, noting he'd take Adderall and a rare use of the yayo to just keep up. He noted that prior to working for Diddy, the only substance he consumed was smoking the ganja, okay? So the Mary Jane, okay? Moving on. Diddy never took no for an answer, which is not a good thing to hear. It's not a good thing for the jury to hear, don't you think? So Paul testified that his job was to, quote unquote, make sure Diddy was happy and carry out all requests to his satisfaction because the music mogul didn't take no for an answer. when it comes to business, but when it comes to humans, that's not a good thing to hear. Okay. Not willing to take no for an answer. That's not a great thing to hear. And that's definitely not something that jury needs to hear right now. But, well, it's been said, hasn't it? So Diddy compared his staff to assistants, as his staff of assistants to SEAL Team 6, demanding they move with no failures, according to Paul. He is not the president. I'm sorry. Y'all need to be moving out here like SEAL Team 6, you feel me? Y'all need to be like a fine-tuned machine. Y'all need to be working together and thinking with the same brain. Nope. He is not the president. Moving on. Witness fired multiple times. Interesting. An impulsive Diddy fired Paul multiple times, including once for forgetting to bring his boss's Lululemon fanny pack. Yeah. So KK told Paul just to keep a low profile and it'll eventually blow over, according to the witness. He recalled seeing Diddy a few days later and he just said, hey, right? Just nothing. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I need you to take care of this, and this. So I got my job again. Okay. Whatever you need, boss. All right. Oh, you need some pills, some powder, and some trees? I got you. You need me to set up a free call? You need me to go to the spicy shop and get some spicy toys? How about the double-sided dildos? You want me to get that too? Any you got enough Astro Glide? I see that you're like 100 short. Do you need like 100 more of the Astro? Because I can go get another, a supply of that. Hey, I found this new website where you can get a whole bunch of Astro Glide for the price of, as if you can get like 1,000, but you're paying for 500. What you think? You down for it? Yeah. Okay, I'll buy it for you. Anything for you, boss? Right? Paul testifies he was given directions about the substances to buy. So the witness recalled being asked to buy thousands of dollars worth of substances. Trees, powder, pink powder, Tusi, X and K were all on his shopping list, Paul said. This is a huge deal right here. I just want to make that abundantly clear. It's not done yet. He's not done yet. But yes, this is a very, very big deal. There was a list. He was asked to buy thousands of dollars worth of substances, party favors, okay? You were kind of meeting up with dealers named Guido, One Stop, Baby Girl, and Ovi. I want to know who these people are. Who's Guido? Who's One Stop? Who's Baby Girl? And who's Ovi? I really want to know. Do the feds know? Do the feds know who these people are? Man, I would love to know who that is. But anyway, Paul testifies that he did substances with Diddy to prove, quote unquote, to prove my loyalty. This is not good at all as well. Being forced to do substances that maybe he does not want to do solely to show that he is down for Diddy. This is also not good. Again, no bueno, cabrón. No bueno. No bueno. So he testified that Diddy asked him to try substances and he did it, quote unquote, to prove my loyalty. I felt euphoric, but did not feel the full effect. He asked if it was good, and I said yes. And then I kept working. Now I'm wondering, obviously it must have been X, but he's sitting there just rolling his balls off. And he's like, yeah, is that good? Is that good, bro? And he's like, yeah, man. And he's like, okay, I need some a Pizza Hut. Okay. And then I need you to go and get some of these other things. All right. You're going to be okay driving? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. All right. I need to go down the street, pick up this stuff, and I need to go over to that hotel, set up this freak off. All right. while he's rolling balls. That's insane. Okay, bad. You need to take this, bro. I need to know that you loyal, bro. I need to make sure you ain't no fed. You feel me? Take it, bro. Okay. Whatever you say, boss. Packing list for hotel nights. So he testified, Brendan Paul, his mule. He testified he had a long list of items he needed to pack for Diddy on the defendant's hotel nights, right? He said he needed to make sure Diddy had his toiletries, because, right, you know, he gonna boo-boo, right? He gonna drop a deuce. He gonna need to brush his teeth at some point, okay? For sure. Lights, candles, incense, Jimmy hats, liquor, soup. I'm sorry. Why? I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, then you got Astroglide, and then a Gucci pouch which contains substances. Okay, the witness said. Now, and then of course we got to finish this, but there's something that's just sticking out to me. Okay, pause. But there is something that's sticking out to me here that's just throwing me off. Here we go. Pouch which contains substances, the witness said. But continuing on, he says, Paul said he also had to pack $5,000 cash for Diddy. Okay, can we just zoom in on this for a second? What's up with the soup? Why the soup? Does freak offs suddenly make you have a hankering for some chunky chicken noodle soup? Like, what's up with the soup, man? You know, all that watching your girl bumping uglies with a whole bunch of dudes that got like a baby's arm holding an apple. Suddenly you got a craving for soup. Someone explain that to me. Is that normal? Like, you know, in like, you know, in those movies, in the movies from back in the day when, you know, I guess smoking was cool, right? When they get done with the hibbity dibbity, you clearly know they got done is post-coital, right? Because they're smoking a cigarette, right? Like, yes, and they're, you know, and they got the implied that they're nude, you know what I mean, with the bed sheets up to here, you know, and they're sitting there going, oh, that was great. That was an amazing experience. But for Diddy, he's sitting there post-coital, taking large spoonfuls of chicken noodle soup. Yeah, that was a great time, girl. Oh, God. Now I'm thinking about, oh, no. Now I'm thinking about, oh, God, he's slurping it up, just getting swallowed up. But instantly I think of the spilled vanilla milkshakes all over the vajayjay. And now I'm thinking about the slurpage. Like, what is he adding it into his soup? Like, that's nasty. That's nasty. You know he done. You know the night is through. That's the that is the whole sign, the whole giveaway. The whole sign that you know for the girls that it's over is when he's heating up his chicken mother-loving noodle soup. Oh. That is you know what I'm saying? Now I feel like anytime those girls smell any type of soup or even see Campbell's or Chunky sitting on a counter or in the cupboard. Yes, I said the cupboard. They suddenly go, ugh. It's this instant gag reflex, okay? Instant vomit. Come on, y'all. Why the soup? You need some carbs at least. Like, make a sandwich. Something. What's up with the soup? Are you also like drizzling that not only with the men's, you know, with the men's spilled vanilla milkshakes, if you get what I'm saying, but then are you adding in there also apple freaking sauce? That is just nasty. Please explain that to me. Why soup? Why soup? Does anybody know? Any of you nasty mother lovers out there being like, yes, after I get done with watching people, doing their thing, I like a big hearty bowl of soup too. Someone please explain that to me. Nasty. Let's move on. Yeah, I can see dehydrated, but that's what water's for, Yetta. That's what water for. Okay? Or what is it? What kind of soup is it? Is it cream of mushroom? Goo. Okay. Or is it just cream of some young guy? Oh, snap. Okay. I'm done. I'm done with the jokes. Okay? Cream of mushroom. Spilled vanilla milkshakes. Okay, let's just continue on. Okay, because that's just nasty. So he testified. He didn't snitch about who asked him to carry substances. All right. So when Paul was arrested for his yayo possession because he had it on his person when they were raiding and all that, and when they went to go up to Diddy and him, he had the stuff on him. He didn't just take it out and just throw it over to the side. He still had it on his person, y'all. The witness said he refused to tell authorities why he was carrying those actual substances. Yes. Even through the substances, even though the substances were not his, Paul said he didn't give up any names because he ain't no snitch. He ain't no snitch, bruh. Right? When the prosecutor, Slavic, asked why he wasn't initially helpful to law enforcement, Paul said, loyalty. He said loyalty. And then, of course, it ends, and then they go into cross-examination. So we're going to go into that. Let's just do it right now, okay? Because there's a bunch of updates, as we already know. There's so many, okay? Yeah, soup. He really does love his hot liquids. Moving on. Paul says he was absolutely not a mule. He says he's absolutely not one. So Paul was asked directly if he was some sort of mule, and he responded, absolutely not. He said that he did personally handle minuscule amounts of substances at a time, and he understood those substances were for Diddy's personal use. Witness recalls his time as a student athlete. Yeah, back in those glory days. Glory days! You know what I mean? Yeah, he's literally going, oh, well, I used to play. Yeah, I was pretty good until my knee blew out. And now I know when there's a thunderstorm coming. 5 hours before it even happens. The damn knee just speaks up every time. So, for just a moment, the witness, Paul, was brought back to some sort of cheerful days of his life as a walk-on for the vaunted Syracuse Orange basketball team. Under cross-examination, defense lawyer Brian Steele, he's taken over. Ooh, Brian Steele, here we go. Paul was asked to confirm that he was an all ACC academic team member in 2019 to 2020, and that he played 2 minutes in the Orange final game of 2020 and a March 11th victory over North Carolina at the conference tournament in Greensboro. So the Orange didn't get to play the next game, and as the tournament was canceled due to the Rona. Okay, so they're like, remember when you used to play? Yeah, I used to play. Moving on now. Like, we don't care. Congratulations, you played college ball for 1 second. Congratulations. Moving on, he testified Jane was not forced into hotel nights. Oh boy. This is interesting too. So the witness said Diddy's former girlfriend, Jane, was not forced into spending nights in hotel rooms with Diddy. Asked by the defense if Jane was ever sorry or not a willing participant, Paul said, absolutely not. The witness also denied that his work amounted to being a part of a criminal enterprise. Yeah, Meezy. Well, this is interesting. Paul says March 2024 arrest on his possession was a mistake. Substances came from cleaning Diddy's home. Okay. So he was arrested in March 2024 at this Miami Opelika Executive Airport on charges of possession of suspected yayo and suspected, candy. Okay. According to the police report, his arrest was the same day federal agents conducted search warrants in both of Diddy's residents in Miami and LA. Prosecutors later decided to only charge him for possessing yayo. That charge was later dropped in December. In his testimony today, Paul said he was arrested on possession of yayo as he was on his way to a family vacation, and the substances were found in his bag. So I was sweeping his room. I put it in my bag, and I forgot it while I was actually packing, he said. When asked during cross-examination by Diddy's attorney, Brian Steele, it was a mistake. That's what Brian Steele asked. Paul answered, yes, it was a mistake. So again, but here's the thing. Why would he be cleaning his room? Right? Is it because they knew that there was going to be some sort of raid happening? Think about that for a second. Oh, yeah, I was doing a sweep of his home, and as I was going through his home, I found some yayo, I grabbed it, and I put it in my bag, and I forgot that I had packed it in my bag. So when they were searching me, they found that stuff on my person, but it was a mistake. This was all Diddy stuff. It was his for his own personal use, but at the same time, I was sweeping his home. Why would you be sweeping his home? To clean out all the substances or to see if there's anything in that home that, anything in that home that could be incriminating. Because you got to remember, let me be real, okay? They talked about when they had the Homeland Security agent come in, and they talked about when they raided his homes, or at least one of his homes. And in one of those homes, they said that they found these weapons, but these weapons were in the security room in a safe, right? Who's to say that stuff wasn't throughout the entire house? And then maybe Diddy's attorney said, hey, I need you to move all the weapons into the security room. Put them near in the safe or near the safe, but they have to be in the security room, because then we can make the excuse that those weapons are for security and security alone, that those are not in the possession of Diddy, right? Because they knew that they were about to get raided. That's what I truly believe. Hence the reason why you have the likes of Brendan Paul going through one of the homes, okay? Sweeping, as he said, sweeping the room. I was sweeping his room and put it in my bag and forgot it while I was packing. Why would he be sweeping his room? I mean, I see that as he was going through his room, not sweeping, not the actual motion of sweeping his room, which he could be sweeping his room like that too. But it's like, hey, I was sweeping and I found it. But it just seems weird that he just happened to find it and happened to have it on his person, and it was from the guy's home. I feel like they knew something was going on. He went in there, try to clean up the space as best as he could before a raid transpired. And then, of course, maybe he did forget that he had the stuff on him. Okay. But again, yeah, we'll see what happens. Then maybe they'll explain that a little bit more. But that is very interesting nonetheless. Okay. Regardless if he was literally doing the action of sweeping or if he was actually going through the house, still, no matter what, does look a little suspect in my personal opinion. How does Paul feel about Diddy? He says it's complicated. So Paul's job with Diddy landed him in handcuffs and now on the witness stand in a high-profile criminal trial. Yet when asked by prosecution how he felt about Diddy, Paul didn't have a quick and definitive response. He said it's complicated. Paul was allowed to leave the witness stand moments later. That's interesting. What's interesting is like, you know what I've noticed as far as like defense does, every time they have like a personal assistant or someone that has worked with him or whatnot, they're trying so hard to be like, so how do you feel about Diddy? He's a nice guy, right? He's a good guy, right? Can't you see that he's a good guy? Don't you think he's a good guy? Sure, he's been making you stay hours on end, all up all night and doing your thing. But don't you see that he's a nice guy? Don't you agree? Can you just give us a little something? And then, of course, they are either going, it was the best time of my life, or they're saying, nah, no, it's complicated, man. I mean, he cool, but shoot, my whole life is pretty much destroyed right now because of working for this dude, right? So, of course, it's going to be complicated. It's a love-hate relationship, I'm sure. Okay? Somebody that powerful, that overly privileged, somebody who is literally exploiting the power and the power and the influence that they actually have. Like we've said a million times, no one man should have all that power, right? But I could definitely see somebody feeling some type of way about that for sure. So let's take a look at this. Okay, we got some transcriptions and all that stuff. Do me a favor, guys. Let's see where we're at. Let me just see. Let's just see. Yeah, let's get to 1K. Can we get to 1K in likes? Okay, it helps the show. It helps us get it out there even more. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. That would be amazing. All right. And then, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. I got a couple things that we're going to be looking at here in a little bit as well. A lot of this pertaining to the Diddy trial, because for a fact we're going to be caught up to where they are at here in a little bit, and then we're just going to be hitting that refresh over and over again. So there is a bunch of things that have come out yesterday that I definitely want to share with y'all. Okay. So again, don't forget to subscribe, please. And thank you. Okay. And also while we're going through this, comment in the chat, in the family chat, where y'all watching this show from. Okay. Where you at, where you're from, just put it in the chat. I'm just curious how international this show has grown and how international this show has become. So just put that in the family chat. Love to hear where y'all are coming in from. Okay. But let's get into this while we get going. Okay. So Brendan Paul. Okay. All right. So, okay. So the judge says the government may call its first witness. Miss Garagos and I will introduce some exhibits. So all under seal except one. So then he admits it. The judge goes, admitted. It's fine. Put him through. So they say the government calls Brendan Paul, right? So Brendan Paul takes the stand. Here we go. Prosecution's asking him these questions. Do you recognize this person? And I guess a tuxedo photo is shown. He says, yeah, that's Sean Diddy Combs. I worked for him until I was arrested at a Florida airport for possession of yayo in my personal assistant bag. Why was it there? I was sweeping Diddy's room. How did you come to work for Diddy? It was through Revolt. Ellie Marone. He told me, get in.
to get out. If I have a girlfriend, break up with her, you'll never see her.
Did you do an interview for this?
Late October 2022 at 200 South Mapleton Drive.
How were you greeted there?
My ID was scanned and I had to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And then Frankie Centella and KK was there too. You may know her as KK, Christina Corum, KK.
Did they hire you? Are they the ones that actually hired you?
Yes, I would pack a lot of joints in the garage. Mary Jane.
Where did you meet Diddy?
KK came to the garage and told me to come to a listening party in the backyard and just stand around and just, take notes.
What was KK's role?
At that time, she was chief of staff, helped out with the family.
Did KK use Diddy's phone ever?
Yes, she did.
How many assistants did Diddy have?
Well, at first 5, and then it was 4, and then it dropped all the way down to 2. Given my college basketball background, I helped with Diddy's workouts.
So who is this right there?
That is Jonathan Perez.
And this right here?
That would be Butler Frank Rodriguez.
So what did Diddy's butler actually do?
Stand next to Puff, giving him water, chapstick, whatever he actually needed.
This is a Farnsworth Bentley, by the way. Just so you know, Butler Frank Rodriguez is another Farnsworth Bentley. Just so you know. Okay? Just so you know. Remember, Farnsworth Bentley would be at his beck and call, standing right next to him, holding a umbrella, following him around with an umbrella and all that stuff. Remember that? Remember all that mucky muck, all that mess that he would do? So basically, that butler is what Farnsworth Bentley was as well. Okay? Yeah, the umbrella. Yeah. Okay? Shoot. So, okay. So back into it. Prosecution says, do you have group chats with KK?
Yes.
Turn to the binder and please just feel free to flip through it. So who is this right here?
Fahim. We called him Fa. F-A-H.
What was your salary in the beginning?
I started at $75,000 a year. Then it eventually went up to $100,000. I got paid bi-weekly by Combs Enterprises.
Where did you actually live?
In an Airbnb in LA and then also in Miami.
Where did KK stay?
In LA, an apartment 4 minutes from 200 South Mapleton. In Miami, she was in the 2-star Island.
Did you accompany Diddy to paid club appearances?
Yes. He would ask for $150,000 and they'd have to sell things for him.
So I'm guessing like merch or something. What did you do to stay awake?
Prescription Adderall and sometimes that powder.
What was your job?
Well, my job was to make sure Diddy was always happy. He'd say, I'd take no for an answer. He told us to move like SEAL Team 6.
Did Diddy ever fire you?
Oh, yeah. For forgetting his Lululemon fanny pack when he went on a walk. He said, I don't want to see your face anymore. Tell KK you're fired.
So what did you do then?
I bought a Lulu fanny pack to get in, and I laid low. Did you ever complain to HR? No, that wasn't a thing. Why not? HR even forgot to pull my federal taxes my first 8 months. You just go to Diddy. Did Diddy ever use substances? Oh, yeah. X, yayo, everything, more. What was in this photo right here? That's my hand with X and 2C. That's the pink yayo. Why did you take this photo? To ask staff what to do with it after I found it. I was told to put it in his bag. Did you ever buy trees, Mary Jane, for Diddy? Yes. From whom? Philip Pines. Puff really liked Sunset Sherbert. Who were the other dealers Diddy used? One Stop, Guido, Baby Girl, and I think it's spelled OEI. So who's this? That's Guido. I guess he has a funny smile on his face in the photo. Is this your chat with Baby Girl? What's actually happening in this dialogue here? Jonathan Perez is introducing me to Baby Girl. She asked me, is it for you or Puff? I replied, Puff. But tell anyone it's for me. Why? Puff is high profile. So we used aliases. Did Diddy ever use Cialis? Yes. We'd put it on his nightstand. Your message to Love Red Phone. What does that mean? I call Puff Love. His red phone was personal. The business phone was yellow. What did he text you? He texted me Zans. How did he pay for the substances? Cash. From a Gucci bag or security, usually Fahim. In this text, what is flowers? Oh, that's the Mary Jane. Did you also call it tree? Yes. Here, Fahim tells me I'll get back paid once Duke comes on shift. Did Diddy have you take any substances? Yes, to test his 2C. Woo! Oh my God! You realize that's not good, right? Oh, come here, man. You my guinea pig today. You gonna take that 2C? Let me know. Is it good? Now we get it. He took some stuff, and it wasn't just to prove. Well, you see that it's not only just to prove his loyalty, but to take a test of his stuff to make sure it's good. This woohoo! No bueno. So, yes, the test is 2C. Woo, boy. So, did you want to take it? I wanted to prove my loyalty. What were wild king nights? Diddy and significant others, substances, and the hibbity-dibbity? Did Jane participate in these wild king nights? Yes. Did Diddy's other girlfriends participate in these wild king nights? Not that I'm aware of. Who called them wild king nights? KK? I'd just say he was just going to hotels. Did Diddy stop using hotels and move them to actual residences? Yes. After Cassie's lawsuit. What did you do? I would just clean up after. What does this say? That Jane coming in, Brendan is setting it up. Wild King Night probable. Where did you make the reservation? Nobu. Where was this Wild King Night then? It was at Jane's residence. I wrote running to Walmart for them. For the Astroglide and the baby oil. Moving on. KK asks, Wild King Night mode active or Gucci bag active? What do you say between the two? How do you know what to buy for Diddy's Wild King Nights? We had a shared document in the Notes app. Who's responsible for the Astroglide? The property manager. I didn't ask. I didn't think the 200 South Mapleton manager was good, so we made a photo. I took a photo to show the manager how to lay out the Astroglide in the bathroom. How did you put in for the cash? Well, Robin at TriStar. Robin at TriStar. Remember TriStar? TriStar's back in the conversation again. Did Diddy contact you from these Wild King Nights? Yes, but voice notes or just straight up FaceTime. He called me to go get a spicy outfit, but he never called me back. How did you clean up after? I wore gloves. Why? So sanitary reasons? Is this a photo of the day of your arrest? Yes. March 25th, 2024. Diddy rented a jet. The yayo you were arrested with, was it Diddy's? Objection! Sustained. Was the yayo yours? No. What is... Sorry. What is... Okay. Was it yours? No. Was it... That's what they're saying. Was it Diddy's? Steele says, objection! Overruled. He says, Mr. Combs. It was Mr. Combs. What did you do after the arrest? Diversion program, drug treatment. No further questions. Judge says, cross. Now we got Brian Steele in the house. So he comes in. You walked up to play basketball at Syracuse for an iconic coach, correct? Yes. You played UNC, but then Rona kind of ended it all, right? Yes. You weren't just a mule, weren't you? Objection! Overruled. I was not just that. That's interesting. I was not just that. Interesting. Okay. He says, I was not just that. We read from somewhere else saying that he said, I'm not at all, right? But, you know, transcriptions can be different. So anyway, Steele continues. It was a minor part of what you did, right? Absolutely. Personal use? Judge says, rephrase, please. The hotel nights were personal, correct? Objection! Can you please rephrase that? It was Mr. Combs and Jane. It was relaxation. It was personal, right? From your observation? Yes. Did you see Jane as hesitant for any of these freak-off nights? I actually did not. If you saw non-consensual activity, you would not have worked there and worked for Diddy, right? Objection! Sustained. You would not work for a criminal, would you? No. You care about your reputation, right? It's fair to say you worry about your reputation. Yes. You were arrested for 27 grams, barely personal use. It was a mistake, right? Yes. And the case was actually dismissed, right? Yes. Did substances make Diddy more focused? He got extremely creative. As you sit here today, are you indebted to Diddy? It was good experiences for the most part. No further questions. Sidebar before redirect. Then judge says yes. So they have a sidebar. So they go back. Prosecution again. Did you know what was happening in the Wild King Nights? Objection! Rephrase, please. Were you there? No. Did you think what did you think the $5,000 was there for? Objection! Sustained. Did you give Diddy did you give Diddy $5,000 cash in other contexts? No. You said you wouldn't work for a criminal, but you bought substances for Diddy. Yes. More than 5 times, less than 10. How do you feel about Diddy? It's complicated. No further questions. Brian Steele says, no recross. Thank you. You may go, Mr. Paul. So, government may call next witness. Okay? First, some exhibits. They're reading text between Diddy and KK on April 25th, 2023. Combs says, I can't take it no more. Album not done. KK says you can release after the studio. We control our energy. Combs says, whatever. Get me Frank. So they play audio by Mr. Combs. Diddy's voice says, have Jonathan do it. So KK replies, John will go to the hotel. We have a bit more. This is what the prosecutor says. So we have a bit more. Then we request a break. So the judge says, okay. Message is shown on the screen involving Veronica Bangs. Then it's taken down. So prosecution reading, Cassie says, you bashed my head in. Diddy says, you're crazy. Stop talking. Flipping on me for what? We're taking a break. So then Cassie responds, I don't want to be beaten down for standing up or ever. Diddy responds, I try to figure out how to get this nut out. I tried to figure out how to get this nut out. Okay. So still reading. The prosecution still reading. No witness on the stand. So she says, Cassie wrote, all I wanted was to have a good time, and you took all your anger out on me as per usual. You dragged me down the hall by my hair. This is not play fighting anymore. I was serious about Rita coming over. Then she reads, Boris had to tackle you, Puff. That's not love. That's passion. That's possession. I'm sorry. I have bleeding cuts. From Diddy to Cassie, I'm not going to let someone ish on me when all I've done is to be nice. All I've done is be nice. That's, I think, what he's trying to say. You don't treat me like a king. You was acting like a B word. From Cassie to Diddy. Talk to your people and they'll tell you. Or they won't, since all they do is suck you. All right. I asked to have my record come out after 1 million years. So then defense says, I'd like to read other portions of those exhibits. I may confer with Ms. Garagos. So then they say, of course, and then they go on to another break. Now they're back out from the break. Jury still out. Defense says, we want to read the next page. Cassie saying, I love our F-offs when we both want them. So the judge says there are evidence. They are in evidence, but for some reason, we're just reading these to jury. So there's no objection there was no objection by the defense. Defense says this leaves a prejudicial impression with the jury. The judge says, "What is your basis for what you want to do?" Defense says, "Well, we didn't know they were only going to read portions." The judge says, "You just want to read the 4 messages?" Defense says, "Yes. I think it's fair for the defense to read the 4 messages. I didn't intend to be misleading," prosecution said. "So if your court is saying these 4 should be read, I should be the one to read them." So the judge says, "Fine. Now we'll take a break." And then they go on the break. So back in with the jury because they re-enter. Prosecution says, "Let me read again. I had read the wrong version. Cassie to Diddy. I want to party and have a good time. I have to focus or I'll never become something, or I'm ever become something, whatever. You treat me like a hooker for 10 years. I love our F-offs when we both want them." So the government calls Homeland Security Joseph Curciello. Hopefully I'm saying that. Curciello. Hopefully I'm saying that name correctly. He's a Homeland Security of 18 years. Okay. How many records have you reviewed for the charge in this trial? He says thousands. So what is the only female name in this chart? Jane. So turn off the public screens. All these exhibits must be provided by Monday, June 23rd. No time given. Will be on alert and publish. Okay. What's the name of this hotel? That's one hotel, South Beach, Phil Pines, May 22nd to 23rd. And I guess in 2021, there's a bill of over $3,000 for one night. And this flight. So this agent says, Jane by JetBlue from New York to Miami. With the public screens off, play the Instagram videos, and it's loud music being played in the background. What does the metadata match up to what's going on here with what we just read earlier? Yes, it does. And now we're fully caught up. So what's interesting about this, okay? What's interesting about this, and Jane in chat just said, court is back after break. It's getting hectic again. Yeah, I'm wondering, well, what's getting hectic again? I'm quite curious. But we got a couple things. We got a couple updates from these other articles. But what's interesting is that he's saying this is all at one hotel, South Beach. Phil Pines is the name that he used, okay, as the alias so this is May 22nd to the 23rd. So for one night in 2021, there was a $3,050.90 paid for one whole night. Now I'm wondering, okay, what is going on, right? I'm wondering what would make them rack up over $3,000 for one night, right? So again, damages to the place, damages to the hotel room, etc. That would be something, right? But what's also very interesting about this is that, and this, the flight was done. Then they go back to these Instagram photos and videos, which obviously document that around the same time. Okay, so showing proof positive that it was her being flown out and being a part of these freak offs, this Jane Doe and all that. So what's interesting about this is very, very interesting. Yes, Brian, you mean Brendan. Brendan already testified, which is, like I said, very, very interesting. Okay, nonetheless. Hold on, I'm just reading some of the, because we got a little bit of time because we're caught up all the way right now. We're going to get into that here in a second, but let's take a look at what's going on here. So special agent takes the stand. Curciello, I guess it's Curciello. All right. So Cassie sends text. Okay. Said Diddy was about possession and not love. And text message from Cassie to Diddy on May 2nd of 2017, the former girlfriend said that she didn't deserve to be attacked by Diddy. That's not love, that's possession. Cassie wrote to him in an apparent reference to the infamous 2016 taping, the 2016 Intercontinental Hotel video, okay, where she was getting dragged around and all that stuff, okay? She told him that as soon as you get effed up, you drag me down the hall by my hair. So text from Diddy says to Cassie, she wasn't being grateful. So despite the brutal attack that Diddy did to Cassie, he still chastised her for not being grateful to him. So in that May text, okay, he told Cassie that everyone else sees you acting like a B word. If I did that to another girl, she would have been so nice and happy, he wrote. Also adding that, quote unquote, wish I didn't waste my time and energy on her. The same day, she appealed to KK. She appealed to KK for help. She says, sure, you don't want to get involved, but no one deserves to get dragged by their hair. The government entered these texts into evidence in its ongoing bid to show how Diddy allegedly had control of his company and those around him to get whatever he wanted. So again, it still didn't compute in his whole head. Okay? Like he still he still is not computing you know what I mean? Because his megalomania, okay, is at an all-time high. He's like, yo, you should be grateful. If I'm putting my hands on you, you should be grateful I'm putting my hands on you. You should feel privileged, right? It's insane. Long story short, okay? Prosecutor enters Cassie's text messages about loving freak-offs. So the prosecution did put that in there. Prosecution put that in there, not the other way around. Not defense, prosecution, okay? So before the prosecution's Homeland Security agent took the stand, the defense entered a March 18th, 2017 text message from Cassie into evidence. She says, I love our freak-offs when we both want it, she wrote. The defense has taken every opportunity to show elements of dual consent when it comes to Diddy and his girlfriends having the hibbity-dibbity. So, Paul's attorney says he was never a mule. So Paul's attorney issued a statement after Paul took the stand today, saying his testimony was crystal clear. He was never a mule for Diddy or anyone else. Notice how, of course, he's going to go on the stand and say that he was not a mule because he doesn't want that attached to his body. He doesn't want that attached to his name. So of course he's going to sit there and say, no, I wasn't a mule for Diddy. I didn't move nothing for Diddy. No, it wasn't even like that. Of course he's not going to sit there and say that. He's going to sit there and say, I had some things because I was holding it for a friend for that one moment. I was cleaning his room. I was cleaning Diddy's room and I found a little yayo on the ground. So I picked it up and put it in my bag, not realizing that I had it on my person. I mean, literally, you can make up every excuse under the sun, okay? But from what we've heard so far from other accounts, from other testimonies, he was making people move things for him all the time, okay? Even KK did that too.
So again, for them to sit there and say, oh, no, he is not a mule, everybody. He never moved any substances for Diddy or anyone else. He's going to do everything he can because you got to understand, he's still got a life to live too. Brendan Paul still got a life to live too. He's still got to go and try to get a job and live his life, right? So he doesn't want that attached to his name because it will forever be branded on his body as the mule. But again, I don't know. You know what I mean? There's something about it that just seems a bit suspect. Why would it be on your person in the first place? And I'm telling you right now, there is no way that you could literally say, oh, I totally forgot that I had the yayo on me, unless you, okay, let me just be real, okay? Let's just break this down for a second, all right? For a hot minute. He's sitting there going, oh, I'm not a mule. And, I didn't realize, I totally forgot that I had the yayo on me. And so when they were searching my stuff and they found it on my person, oops, right? That is only being said by someone who's used to carrying those things all the time. Let me say that again. That is just something that is said by someone who is used to carrying that kind of stuff all the time. Let me just say this. Me, if I was sweeping up Diddy's room or Diddy's home and I found little baggies of snow in these random areas, for a fact I'm going to remember that it's in a bag. I'm not going to go, oh my God, I totally forgot that I had little baggies of yayo in my bag before we took off. I'm instantly going, oh, no. As soon as I get to wherever I can, where I can safely discard this stuff, I'm going to go and discard it. Or even better, I'm going to the closest toilet and I'm flushing it down the toilets. Am I wrong or am I wrong? You're not going to sit there and go, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that there's yayo in the bag. Golly gee willikers, I forgot. No, you're going to remember. And you're going to do everything you can to get it out of your possession as quickly as possible. Me, you know what I mean? You're holding it like it's like a dirty diaper or something like that. You're like, oh, I need to put this. Where do I put this? Where do I put this? You're going to do something with it. And you're going to try to get rid of it as quickly as possible. You're not going to sit there and put it in your bag. And you're definitely going to remember that if you're not used to carrying stuff for someone like Diddy. Let's keep it a bean, y'all. Let's keep it a bean. The only reason why he forgot, let's just say forgot that it was in his bag, is because he's used to carrying stuff for Diddy all the time. So in other words, does that mean he's a mule? Quite possibly, y'all. Quite possibly. But again, like I said, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? Yeah, you'd be terrified, Mo. You'd be absolutely terrified. You'd be like, no, not today. Let's go and move it, right? Try to get it out of there, out of your possession as quickly as possible. You're not sitting there going, okay. In my little Lululemon baggie, fanny pack. Boop. Let's just go. You know what I mean? Just Nah. Sorry. But of course he's going to be like, yeah, he is not a mule and has never been a mule. You know what I mean? He was subpoenaed to come to court and tell the truth, which he did, word for word. Now that Brendan has finally had the opportunity to tell his full story about his employment, we are hopeful that the last 15 months of defamatory statements about him will cease. And this is what his lawyer, Brian Bieber, no relation to Justin, said about Brendan Paul being a mule. I'm sorry. I just something about it screams BS in my personal opinion, but okay. All right. It is what it is. You could still go to the stand, say that you're telling everything under oath fully and truthfully, and still mother love and lie. Sorry. It's still possible. Still possible, guys. Let's continue on though. Where were we? Said, did the metadata match up with the bill from the hotel for that one night that racked up over $3,000?
and the Instagram photos or Instagram videos from Jane Doe's Instagram. Okay. That, of course, this Homeland Security agent is basically saying, yes, they match up. What's the name here? It says Jessica Ruiz, Diddy's travel agent. What was the charges for losses and damages? About $6,000. So who flew on this one? It looks like Jane and Cabral. Jane from LA to Miami, then back to LA. And Cabral, Atlanta. So they're showing this, which is interesting. So while they go back and forth about the exhibits, they are not being shown, okay, to the public. So here's Jane's message to prosecutors, or Jane. Here's Jane's message. The prosecutors say belatedly made available. So, want to get a party going before you spend the weekend with a boring chick. Oh, that's funny. But then, of course, this is a text message. Clearly, it's got to be from Jane to Diddy, right? And then we wait even more. So there is something I want to share with y'all. So I'm going to pull this up really quick as we take this quick little break, okay? Or quick little, like, as we wait for a second, okay? There is something that I do want to share with y'all, okay? So let's take a look at this. So this is allegedly audio was leaked, okay, of Cassie threatening someone, okay, a male S worker apparently, okay, who claimed he saw a video of her participating in these freak offs. Let's take a look at this, okay. So again, it says here, audio of Cassie threatening a male S worker called Sug It. I'm done. You get it? Sug It. Anyway, who claimed he saw a video of her participating in the freak offs has now been released. The audio was originally played in court last month on May 16th, and it is now public. If you recall, Cassie had previously taken to the stand and admitted to doing so because she didn't want the tape to get out. And of course, they're asking, like, hey, neighbors, thoughts? Well, here's something that's very interesting. I'm going to refresh this really quick, and then we're going to play it.
It's my life, and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but
I will if you don't show me right now. I will you, and I will hide you, and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to you, and then he's going to you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now. You got that? Pull that up. I'm going to you. You don't understand. I don't give a I've never anybody in my life, but I will you because you're with me. You're with me in my life right now. If I saw a video of you doing anything that you didn't want people to see, I would show you the video so you could tell me what the happened. You're playing games with me, telling me you saw some. Now you're saying you didn't see some. You're with me. I'm going to you up. I don't think you understand. And it's not going to be my hands, and it's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. So you have to tell me right now, and I'm recording this whole shit. FYI, tell me what the you're talking about. Because this is not cool.
Woo!
We're not playing. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Like, you saw some yes, you're my brother. Be my brother and tell me what you saw. You're going to be able to find it?
Okay. First off, we got to talk about this. Okay. We got to talk about this. First off, do you blame her for being this upset? Let me explain. The language is a little, very unladylike. Okay. But at the same time, if you found out that something that you do in private is now being exposed for everyone, like that the stuff that you were doing private is now getting leaked out, wouldn't you freak the F out too? Think about that for a second, y'all.
Okay. Clearly what they're doing is some crazy stuff. Okay. But again, I'm not surprised by what she's saying. Now, clearly threatening the dude and all that stuff. Obviously, she's saying, for me, I don't think she's really meaning that she's going to off the guy. Okay. I don't think that she's really going to off the guy. She even said, I'm going to off you. And then Diddy will off you. You know what I mean? I just think that she's desperate. She's freaking out and she's angry. And it's like, yo, you're playing with me. Are you playing with me? Or are you serious? And I can see that desperation and that's being scared. Okay. But imagine that if it was that kind of situation where you're like, oh, I mean, clearly, hopefully you guys aren't doing your own versions of these kind of freak offs like this. But if you are, I mean, it is what it is, as long as it's consensual and legal. But at the same time, I could see somebody being very upset, very scared. And yes, this is in the heat of the moment. She's desperate. She's just trying to get down to the bottom of it, going like, yo, what is going on? Are you playing with me or no? Where is this stuff? Show me what you got. If you're messing with me, man, you see what I'm saying? So I could see her being so desperate. Also, for somebody to go up to her and go, yeah, I got some of that video of you doing these freak offs with this random dude out of nowhere. I'd be pissed if I were in her shoes. What are you talking about? You saw some video. What? Of what? What you talking about? You see what I'm saying? So I'd be pissed if I were in her shoes, which I wouldn't be in her shoes, but you know what I mean. Okay. That's some scary stuff. That's scary stuff. So I could see her being, I get it. Okay. I get it. Yes. Very, very, dirty mouth. Okay. Like real talk. She needs some Orbit chewing gum right now. But at the same time, okay, she is trying to get to the bottom of it. And if somebody's going to dangle something like that, pause. But if you're going to dangle evidence like that, shocking and career-ending footage over your head, how are you going to react? You're literally going to say everything you can to get down to the bottom of it, right? So again, scary. I don't blame her. I don't blame her for being that angry. I really don't. Again, we'll see how everything goes. And please don't put names in here, guys. All right? Please don't. Please don't. All right? Please don't. I'd appreciate it. Okay? You do, I'm blocking you. Okay? That's it. Don't put their names. Don't put anybody's name in the chat. Okay? No, don't put what you think that Jane Doe's name is or anything like that. Okay? Let's play nice. Don't do that. All right? But still, nonetheless, I don't blame her. I'd be pissed. Okay? And scared out of my mind for sure. But let's continue on. Now we're back into this again. Okay? So it says, okay, what is this? So this agent says, hotel damage report at London Hotel, room 229. So they were on the second floor of this hotel. I don't know how tall this hotel is or anything of that sort, but at the same time, they're on the second floor. They're not like on at the top of the high-rise hotel overlooking some lavish, beautiful, city. You know what I mean? Okay, skyline. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you're seeing some beautiful skyline. No, they're on the second floor. Okay, so on the second floor, room 222 or room 229. The report says bodily fluids spread on the floor. Pictures attached as evidence. Giggity goo. Like I said, nothing but man's vanilla milkshakes spilleth over everything. I'm telling you right now, there's so much baby oil and so much Astroglide being used in these rooms. And a lot of these rooms have carpeted floors. They're using so much that I'm sure these people are slipping and sliding all over the carpet. It's that disgusting. Okay? But bodily fluids spread on the floor. Pictures attached as evidence. So, names in column. So it says Jane, Combs, Reggie, Paul, and Cabral. Okay? Somebody said, OMG, what fluids? Well, when a man loves a woman, and sometimes when women love women and men's love men's, there's a lot of bodily fluids that just flow out of us when we get really excited. Okay, when we get to the point of pure happiness. Okay, there's like a very obvious period to the end of that actual sentence. Okay, and it just goes all over the place if it's not going into one specific area. Okay, that's what happens between men's and women's. Okay, the fluids just runneth over. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they just come out like a geyser. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they just drip, drip, drip. It just depends on the person. Okay, but we all made under God's glory, under His image. Just remember that. But yes, as we wait. Bodily fluids spread on the floor. Not just like, oh, there's just a little bit of like a squirt pattern going over here. There's a spray pattern on the floor. No, it's spread on the floor. Okay? Then I'm wondering, is it more than just, could it be apple juice too? Or are we just talking about vanilla milkshakes? You know what I'm saying? Are we talking about some number ones here as well? Just, you know what I mean? Living a life like it's golden, living a life like it's golden. Shower. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious. I'm just curious, but let's continue. That's nasty. All right. So Diddy checked out of Florida, California hotels with major damage. So the defendant checked out of Ball Harbor, okay, resort in December 6, 2021, with a $6,000 bill for damages, according to records shown in court. He also left a London hotel, West Hollywood, where he stayed from January 20th to 23rd in 2023 after doing $3,750 worth of damage. Records showed. Those damages included fluid stains on wood floors, interesting, linens, and other areas of the room. Diddy regularly checked out of hotels with 4 digits worth of damage to rooms, earlier testimony has shown. So wood floors, damaging wood floors. Imagine that. What is going on here? But then you also wondering, like, I also wonder, and maybe I don't want to know, but there is a question though, like how many times are they busting? Like, real talk, in the course of the time that they're there, are they just busting like nonstop, or is it just one big bust? I know that's a weird thing to say, but it just, I want to understand the fluids on the floor. Look, bodily fluids spread on the floor. Bodily fluids. It's not baby oil. It's bodily fluids. So what is that? Are they just busting all day long? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but that is like how, like, you know what I'm saying? Because again, sometimes they're doing this for days on end. So are they just busting every hour? Yeah, skeet. Skeet. So are they just like skeeting? Like they just straight busting every hour? But maybe it's blood, but then why would there be blood spread on the floor though? It could be everything. It could be the one, it could be the number one, it could be vanilla milkshakes, it could be apple juice.
Okay. And the baby oil and the Astro all smashed into. I'm just saying, how often are you in these nights? How often are you busting? I mean, I don't want to know, but I kind of want to know because, like, how you know what I'm saying? How, and then also, ladies can bust too, like, outwardly. And it's not just a full on baby, not a full on body convulsion thing. Okay. It's not just, oh, you know what I mean? Sometimes you guys go off like a geyser too. All right. So I'm just wondering what is, you know what I'm saying? He bussing, the S worker is bussing, she bussing. Okay. But how often are you doing that? Like that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a lot of busting. I'm sorry. That's a lot of busting. And with, at least with the fellas, you feel me? Like they still need time to recharge. You need fluids, okay, to make fluids, okay. So yeah, you could make bust once and be done for 3 days, right? So how is this stuff all over the floor? I'm just saying, just make that make sense. That's wild, okay? Just gushing like a geyser. Okay, just straight up, boosh, skadoosh. You know what I mean? But then it's like, okay, you're done. You need a nap. You need to sleep. But it's so bad that they were racking up thousands upon thousands of dollars. Look, $6,000 in damages for the spot because of skeet. Yeah, it also could be vomit as well, but that's nasty. You don't think to even just clean that up just for a second? Because then the room smells like vomi. Okay? It smells like that too. That's not cute. Doesn't matter if you have scented candles just burning in the background. Okay? It can't cover up the smell of someone just yakking. Okay? So this dude nasty, yo. This dude nasty. This is other level, just gross. Oh man. Yeah, it's gross, y'all. This is gross. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. All kinds of fluids, y'all. That's nasty. Okay. Looking like there could be so much red walking in that place. It just looks like a damn murder scene. It could literally look like that too. Okay. It could be straight up bus juice, or it could be blood too. I mean, that's just gross. Okay. Fly Girl, thank you so much for being a member for over a year now. Thank you so much. Pascal, you are amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Okay, Big Migs. I'm sorry. I'm just asking the question, okay? All right, I can't with you today. Tears. You're in tears. There's a little Yoda moment. Tears I'm in. But still, yes, I know. Okay. But still, I mean, that's a question though. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat though, too. And I'm glad I'm keeping you entertained. But like I said, that's they've been having a lot of, if you see the mouse right there, okay, it looks like they've been having way too much of a Friday feeling. That didn't work. But you know what I mean? Okay. They out here just bussing. Okay. Or it's getting rough as hell. Or it's rough as hell. Man, I'm telling you right now. I know, yeah, the luminol would light up like a Christmas tree. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely, Gypsy. It would be like, whoa! Oh my God, it's on how is that on the ceiling? That's sperm, right? Damn! Wow.
How did it get all the way up there? Crazy. All right. We got more information. Come on, man. Still nothing, but let's see. Let's see what CNN got to say. Okay, so let's just see what they're saying here for the agent. So the agent's testimony focuses on charts with 44 entries from May of 2021 to August of 2024. So special agent for the Homeland Security explained the charts includes the location, individuals' names, and transportation records associated with different date ranges. So Curciello is reviewing charts of evidence compiled by the prosecution to confirm the information in the charts corresponds with the underlying exhibits, which include thousands of pages of text messages as well as phones and financial records. He said the 44 entries on the chart range from May 2021 and August of 2024. And the only woman's name on that chart is Jane, okay? One of the accusers in this actual case. He said before Cassie's lawsuit was filed, most of the locations were actual hotels. After the lawsuit was filed, none of them were at hotels because he got caught. So he's like, F it. We gonna do a low profile. We're going back over to her home. We're gonna bump uglies and do our fun in our hotel nights at Jane's home, right? So Curciello said there were 3 of these events after Diddy posted an Instagram video on May 19th of 2024. Okay, so remember, Diddy apologized for physically attacking his then girlfriend Cassie 2 days after CNN published that video. Okay, which we already know about that. So this Homeland Security agent testified that the charts do not include every time Jane and Diddy were at a particular location, but these were the instances with documentation to support it. Okay, so they didn't have everything locked in all the time, because I'm sure sometimes they were at her home, sometimes they were at other places, you know what I mean, at other homes as well, where he would have freak-offs in his homes as well. So there is a possibility that, again, not everything can be documented because, like I said, they weren't always at a hotel. So the chart that the agent is testifying about is similar to the chart Penland, okay, had when she was testifying, showing off information as well. Okay, so Zokilla, like the whole room was a bathroom. It didn't matter. Okay, like crazy stuff. Let's see if there's any updates here. Like that's some diabolical stuff, y'all. All right, just bussing everywhere. It's just, I don't know. Like I get it, like, you know, the hibbity dibbity is nasty. You know, if you really think about it, the act of it is nasty. I mean, you know, there's a lot of things going on. Okay, there's a lot of exchanges of fluids and stuff for show. Okay, but it's still a beautiful thing. This is how we come into the world, y'all. Okay, but still, to think that these people would go into this room and do it even more nasty, like, and or not even be like, oh snap, a little dribble on the floor. Like, let me just get a piece of tissue paper and clean it up really quick, or let me get a towel and clean it up right quick. Oh no, none of that stuff would happen. They would just be like, goosh, okay, just leave it there. My people will clean it up. That's just gross. That's gross. But I do want to also say this before we continue on, because they just put something up, an update about 9 seconds ago, or, you know, 2 updates in the last 30 seconds. But here's something I think is weird. The fact that who in their right mind would be willing to clean up Diddy's nasty stuff like that? Who in their right mind would be like, all right, bet, let's do it. I'm cool with it. You know? I don't know how. you're not getting paid enough, okay, to clean up this stuff. All right. So on the chart, by the way, the names on the chart are Jane, Diddy, Reggie, Paul, and Cabral. So, and these right here between Paul, Arthur, and Diddy, and then Jane says, okay, Arthur Fitness, LLC, an ATM cash deposit of $900, then $600 as well. Okay, and then this, more hotel damages. Fahim's cell phone was seized, right? Yes, it was. Your Honor, okay, so the defense says, Your Honor, take that one down. Public couldn't see it anyway. Can we please have a sidebar? And they say, and then the judge goes, yeah, please take that down. And yeah, let's have a sidebar. So they have a sidebar. Again, pretty interesting stuff thus far. Okay. I will say this. All of this, yes, it's nasty. Yes, Diddy should be absolutely embarrassed by all this information. Okay. And yeah, the hibbity dibbity is nasty. Okay. The act of making love is nasty. If you really think about it, it's nasty. All right. But them showing the damages to the homes or to these hotel rooms and all that, is it illegal? If he's paying for it, it's not like he's going, okay, bussing and then running around and going, yeah, okay, trying to dodge these bills. He's paying the damages. So I think a lot of people be like, yeah, okay, so he liked to bust a nut. But is it illegal? Is what he did there illegal? The damages to the rooms, is it illegal? Is that what he's on trial for? The damages? No, he's not. He's on trial for getting people to clean the things up. And then, of course, moving these pros across state lines, moving these women, the Jane Doe and Cassie around, etc. Right? Yes, I know that they're like connecting the dots, but like I said, I feel that most people are going to say, well, is that illegal? Yeah, sure. He had a crazy night. Rock stars do it all the time, right? Damage a whole room. And then they have to, back in the day, at least, they would go and they would, pay the damages for what they did to the hotel room. It's the rock star lifestyle type BS, right? With these hotel rooms. But is it illegal? Is it showing racketeering? Is it showing RICO? That part isn't. What the part that is being, the part that it is showing them cleaning the stuff up, right? Cleaning up after him, setting up everything before and putting everything down after the freak-offs have been done, right? But again, like I said, this is it's gross. And I also feel like prosecution's trying to embarrass the hell out of Diddy as well. Okay. It's not only just them taking, looking at everything and ripping him apart for what he's being charged with. But I also think that they're trying everything they can to embarrass the dude. And that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. Because what he did is very bad. But they're literally dragging him through the coals right now. So I just think that's very interesting. Hold on. Another one. Another text message. So another Jane message they belatedly made available today. So I'm cried. I'm so triggered by this because it's too close to some nights I felt forced. So this is obviously a text message to Diddy after she read Cassie's lawsuit, which now she's like, oh my gosh, this is just, it's too damning, right? So, or too, it feels too much of the same of what I've been experiencing and what I'm continuing to experience. So I'm crying. I'm so triggered over this, or I'm so triggered by this because it's too close to some nights. I felt forced. Sorry, but it's too close to some nights I felt forced. Please stop plying women with substances, using them for your fetish nights. It creates demons inside of us and real trauma to women who are only doing it to please you. Let the pain on other women stop with me. Leave women alone who don't want to do those nights with you. Hire pros, S-workers, and stop emotionally harming women that love you. I mean, and that is a very, very blatant message to him, being like, stop it, Diddy. Stop all of this. Okay? I'm done. Stop it. That, to me, is how it is. Stop with me. Stop it. You know what I mean? So, again, but she's still being like, but I love him. He's my little lover. He's my little Pookie. He's my schnookums, right? So again, very, very interesting. That's a text message that's out here now too. Oh, and there's more. Very interesting. Shout out to Inner City Press, of course. So another message, okay? So you want me to, you want to have me S some D so you can jet off to an island with Gina or Young. Ooh, Gina's in the chat again. And have me do the dirty ish in hotel room after hotel room. I mean, again, you know, she's like, I'm tired of being used. Okay. You could always, somebody said, you could always, I don't know, stop doing it. I feel like that's going to be the ongoing argument for everybody, right? For a lot of people, certain sides of the world are like, yo, you are a willing participant. What are you talking about? You stop doing this, stop it. And it's like, well, you were cool with it before. You were totally down for it before. Still continuing to say that you love him and everything. You sure about that? You sure about that? I can see the argument. I do. I can. I definitely can. But like I said before, once somebody says no, once they say that they've had enough, it's definitely, you know, you need to listen to that for sure. Christina, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the super chat. I had an explosive coat brown at work. Oh my God. I said, I'd rather clean up after a Diddy party. The conversation it turned into would you rather? Oh my God. I'm done. RN for life, or RN life. Yeah, no kidding. I'm sure it's like, those kind of code brown situations. Like, shout out to all you RNs out there. Real talk, okay? Because some of y'all jobs, all y'all jobs have those moments for show. But yeah, you ain't wrong. It's like, would you rather clean up Diddy's freak offs or clean up, you know, a Code Brown situation at a hospital? I don't know, y'all. That is a debate to be had for sure. Let's hit this refresh. Because apparently they're supposed to be ending early. They're supposed to be adjourning early today. So this should be very interesting. That's what they're saying. So we'll see what happens. Let's see what CNN has to say here. So hotel records show $3,700 charge for damages after one whole stay. So the secret agent testifies that he reviewed documents related to a hotel stay Diddy had in Los Angeles in January of 2023. Hotel records showed the room was reserved under the name Joseph Chavez and included a I'm just rounding down, okay? So $3,700 charge for damaged furniture. A report from the hotel said that there were, quote unquote, bodily fluids stained on the wood floor across the entire room and on some furniture. How do you have bodily, like I said, you're just busting everywhere. You're busting in the kitchen, busting in the living room area, busting on the couch, busting on the freaking bed, busting in the bathroom. Like, that's insane. So the evidence chart referenced some of Diddy's text messages with Jane, one of his accusers, who was using a pseudonym at the trial. Okay, so the messages showed the two coordinating the arrival of 3 men at the hotel. See, so you got, like, this is insane. 3 other men are supposed to be showing up. One of these men, okay, deposited $1,500 cash at an ATM in Los Angeles in the days following the hotel reservation. So again, you put together the timeline of everything that's going on. You can see clear as day that they would have a freak off a day or two later. These guys that were performing for these freak offs would go and deposit the money, and they were getting paid cash because they were trying not to have, Diddy was not trying to have a paper trail. Okay. The jury also saw a message Diddy sent to Jane telling her to send $1,100 to Cowboys for Angels, a service that for S workers. Okay. And of course, for flights and an overnight rate. So again, I repeat, Diddy, a dirty, dirty boy. He dirty. Okay. So they're back. due to stop in 3 minutes. Yep, like I said, they're supposed to adjourn here fairly shortly. All right. So did Jonathan Perez send this to Fahim? I guess it was a text message. So the Homeland Security agent says yes. And this is about Antoine, and it's sorted by date. Please sort it, Miss Becker. So I guess they're having an issue with sorting something out here. That's actually pretty cool. The bobblehead thing. That's actually pretty good. He needs to hold a bottle of baby oil and then some Astroglide in the other hand too. But in fact, he needs to have like one of those Muslim head setups, right? And then an open robe, and he needs to be hunched over, and then one hand down near his privates. That's what he needs to have. All right, that's what it should look like. Okay, if you're gonna do that, just go all the way in. Don't make him look good. Don't make him look all clean. Okay, all right. And then that bobblehead, that version of the bobblehead, should always be in the corner of a room. Get it? Always be in the corner of a room. You can't put it like in the middle of the room on a shelf. It's got to be in the corner of a room. Okay, it's got to be in the corner of the shelf. All right. Or maybe it's him with the garb thing, right? I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry, guys, but having this whole thing, and then he's holding the baby oil, and then he's wearing the robe, right? But then then he's also in the corner. But as he's in the corner, hunched over, and he's got the baby oil, he's drinking out of a vanilla milkshake cup. Okay, he out there just slurping it up. Swallowed up. Oh my God. Okay, so it's the near of the end of day for today. Okay. So okay, some more exhibits. Okay. So I guess he said, this is from Diddy. So he said, I'm not even horny no more. Oh, okay. So he wasn't feeling it no more. He definitely was not in the vibe anymore. He's like, no, just invoice me the problem. Invoice me the problem. Do not, I repeat, don't come complain me about this ish. Okay? Just invoice me the problem so I don't have to hear this stuff no more. Yeah, I know. You'll never have a vanilla milkshake ever again. Not never again. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. Right? Oh, we have fun here. We have fun. We have fun. We have fun. Let's see. Still waiting. Still waiting. Because they're gonna be adjourning here in just a minute. Once it's adjourned. I just want that. I mean, $6,000 worth of damages, body fluids, etc. Linen soaked in body in baby oil. Look at this. Look. Here's one. Okay, let's take a look at this. So you checked out of the hotels, major damage, right? So he's in there. He's the $3,700 worth of damage. Okay, the damage is fluids on the floor, on the wood floor, linens, and other areas of the room. So he was under the alias Frank Black. He returned to that West Hollywood hotel for a 2-day stay. Okay, in 2023, causing $1,800 of damage. The records show. So room 917, linens and smoking in room. Linen soaked in baby oil, and on carpet, as well as evidence of smoking in the room. So he's sitting there smoking cigars, lathering everything with covering everything with baby oil. But that's just one spot. That's just one hotel. The other ones are literally fluid stains, like bodily fluid stains on wood floors. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. Everybody just busting everywhere. That's insane. That's insane. And they would still bring this guy back. They still would allow this guy to come back to these hotel rooms, which is diabolical. Like, Frank Black? Oh, I don't know. We shouldn't be bringing Frank Black here anymore. You know what I mean? Okay, here we go. And then it's a wrap. So after those messages, they say, who sends this message? KK sent a message. Okay. So then they say, what does Jonathan write to Fahim? He says, I don't know if you're holding $10,000. Fa said, trying to get some more now. So I'm assuming to pay off some of these guys. And then of course, this from June 20th of 2024. So a year ago today, says, and then right there, Your Honor, I think is a good stopping place since we're ending earlier today. So, of course, they wrap for the day, which is absolutely knuckin' futz. Okay? Crazy stuff here, guys. Absolutely crazy stuff. And of course, to me, I get it that they're trying to show that I get that they're trying to show that there is a paper trail here, right? That there's proof of Diddy having these parties, throwing these, freak offs, etc. And of course, the damages, using his personal expenses to take care of these situations. Like, again, look at this real quick. Here's one, a new update from CNN. Note detailing his personal expenses was shown to the jury. So the jury was shown a note recovered from phone of Diddy's head security, Fahim, or Fa, on April 25th, 2024. So not very long ago, okay, stating $5,000 PD, Puff Daddy, personal London, okay? The jury has seen evidence that Muhammad, or Fahim, okay, kept track of some spending reimbursement for Diddy's personal cash expenses. So again, it's like, okay, I got to take $5,000 out of my own money, but he still owes me for,
personal cash in London, for the London hotel situation, or, he was keeping tabs because he wants his money back, which I don't blame him. Right. So again, like I said, this is all very bad, but mostly to me, it's like a lot of this is very embarrassing at the surface, extremely embarrassing. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, how illegal is that? How illegal is it? I get the preparation of things, setting certain things up, right? But then there's the other side, okay? I get that he did some very, very bad things here. But as far as the damages to the hotel rooms, is that proof of illegal activity? Setting things up and cleaning stuff up afterwards, absolutely. But the damages, all it's doing is showing that he was there and that he had these parties and these freak-offs, and these men's would come in and do what they did and cause some serious damage, right? Absolutely, right? That's just showing like, hey, these damages, here's the receipts of all these damages. Here's some, this is the paper trail. This is proof positive that Diddy was there doing these illegal things and doing this illegal activity, right? But that's what we have so far. They are obviously have adjourned for the weekend. They're going to be back up and running again on Monday. Brendan Paul, that was some very interesting stuff as well. And so, again, we are going to be talking about that and then some just in a second. But of course, I do want to bring in my good friend, a good friend of the show. We got Dwit Gilmore in the house. So what up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, long time no see.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. How you been, my brother? You been all right?
I'm good. Just business as usual, doing the status quo over here. I have a few revenue streams going on from home. So I just finished cooking a Caribbean zest pasta and shrimp dish for someone that ordered on Uber DoorDash. So So I cook day and night just from home. There goes the tablet telling me that the driver's here to pick up the food. So it's just one of those hacks of life that I learned. And we cook day and night. It's one of those revenue streams, relaxed revenue stream that you add that keeps you free and staying home and out of harm's way, which is people. Because more people, more problems.
No doubt. I mean, we're clearly seeing that with Diddy, right? There's more issues, more problems for him all day long. I
think it's more money. It is more money, more problems with him for sure. Some people know how to, I'm being funny about it, but some people know how to handle the overwhelm. He hasn't. He fell knee deep into temptation, and then he dived.
It looks like we lost him. It looks like
was around.
Oh,
have you remember Back Pages?
Oh yeah, I remember Back Pages.
Yeah, this guy came up in that era of Back Pages and ornography. And so he basically had the ability and the wherewithal, the financial means to enable him to dive all the way into the temptations of man. And it got salacious and overwhelming. And look, I'm not making any excuses for him, but he didn't have no mentors in his life. You know how I roll. And it looked like we got the memo. Looked like we got the memo. But you know how I roll, and he didn't have the mentorship, and as a result, here we are.
No doubt. It's very interesting how everything's coming to a head. No pun intended. But still, the thing is what I want to know here is when it comes to because I know a lot of people are wanting to know a little bit about you, DeWitt, and of course, your involvement or your situation as well. So for those of y'all who don't know DeWitt Gilmore, he is also, his pen name is Relentless Aaron. He wrote a very vivid book
about his experience with Diddy, and the name of the book is entitled "The Night Diddy Tried to Kill Me." And he went into DeWitt went into some very scary detail about this like high-speed chase throughout Manhattan. And of course, he's been on the show. We talked about it in the past. Go check out that interview when you get a chance. And hopefully maybe the mods can pull up the interview, pull up the link and put it in the chat. That'd be greatly appreciated. But here's the thing. We haven't talked in a while, since we haven't talked since your birthday. And so I know that there is, and so I know that there's a lot of things that that people are kind of curious about as far as the updates in regards to your case, because I know that you did file a lawsuit and all that,
right.
and so I'm wondering what's going on with that before we go into the trial stuff, right? I'll let you go and do that here really quick.
Just had to take care of the driver.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
go
okay.
ahead.
It's okay. So what I want to know is, are there any updates? Are there any updates revolving around that particular case, with your trial and all that? Just real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So two things. The book is called "The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me." It's I wrote it because this thing had been sitting on my soul for many years, and it was time. It was just time for me to unload it, and I really wanted to tell my story. And that's really what this has turned out to be. This is turned out to be, hey, look, I got a chance to tell my story. So there's a lot of his victims, whether they're people that he essayed or people, that, look, there's people, now that we've seen all of the the facts, as I call them. You could say allegedly to protect yourself if you want to, but I'm gonna call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen him flying people in from with all these escorts. We have to realize what is his potential of flying people in that didn't even speak the language, or that didn't have their druthers, or who weren't connected, right? And so there's a lot of other people involved that could not come forth because they were intimidated by this cat. And I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I'm 60 now, and I grew up like really hardcore, Marine Corps, the streets of New York, the whole nine. But when someone attacks you and they have a whole gang of goons with them, and they ambush you, and there's gunshots. I have my security with me. Not only that, I had an intern with me, so I wasn't alone. And so when things like that happen, it tends to put things in a different perspective about who this cat is. So I knew about this cat before all of y'all knew about this cat. Andre Harrell introduced him to me back in the day. Hey, this is Puffy. He's my intern. And before you know it, we start doing business, right? Just to fast forward, because there's people that are new, maybe to you, to me, that don't know the story. My story is well documented. I've been on The Fall of Diddy, which is a five-part series, which probably will have more a series because of the outcome of the trial. But The Fall of Diddy featured my story, encapsulated it for perpetuity. So I'm really grateful. I've also been on Good Morning America, and actually, I just went to the courthouse. I don't know if you know, but
No.
Good Morning Britain flew me out to New York, and they brought me out there and did the whole interview bit. And they actually took me through, the streets, to actually reenact and had Lance there. And they brought Lance in and the whole nine. So that was really great. But I took the opportunity to go into the courtroom, and I wanted to put eyes on this situation. And
Right.
it's crazy, but I'm actually sitting between Lauren LaRosa and the CBS chick, the black chick. I forgot her name, but very pretty girl who's been documenting this. Not Tisa, but the lady that works at CBS. So anyway, long story short, my story, the Night Puff Tried to Kill Me, really talks about how we met, what happened that night, him and his goons ambushing me, Lance, and my intern. and how we got away. And yes, many years have passed. I was afraid. You know, I found out later that he was calling the house and threatening my wife, my then wife. I was married at the time. And you know, things like that, you know, not for nothing, but you know, they're intimidating, they're frightening. He had obviously, you're seeing all the relationships and the connections, and he's aloof with his money. He's reckless, and so I literally, my life was on the line. So I kind of took a step back from everything and decided to replace my energy. And replacing my energy just meant just focus on me. You know, had a TV show, a magazine, did many live concerts, like hundreds of live concerts. So I didn't, you know, I didn't feed into like go to the police, tell them what happened, you know, take him to court. I you know, I just didn't do that. I'm from the streets of New York. We just not for nothing, but I was from the other side. You know, the other side meaning like we don't go to the police. You know, we handled it amongst ourselves. And oh boy, was I about that was going to be part 2 of this book, by the way. Let me tell you. So I also wrote another book, which is the fictional version of The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me. And I sold that book to 50 Cent. And I became a G-Unit author. So the irony in all of this is I told this story back in 2004, but I fictionalized it. So because we don't read, there's no way, like 50 Cent didn't read the book. Probably the publishing company, which was Simon & Schuster, one of the biggest publishers, arguably the biggest publisher in the world, did not really read the book for the intense relationship or irony that this, oh my God, this could be Puff Daddy that he's talking about. No. So I really wanted some get back. And so my way of getting back was making money from the situation. And so I wrote the book, and now I wrote this book, and now I'm doing a film for this book. And so that's what, now, you asked me the question about the lawsuit. I filed a lawsuit in November of last year because I could. I filed it because I understood I still had teeth in the game. I still, they said that you could file, didn't matter how long, if you were threatened, if you felt threatened, or if you had new evidence. And so my feeling threatened was obvious. You're seeing what he did. He owned the police. He owned people's minds. I was not in the music industry to the point that he could get me fired, but he's done that to people. He's got people fired, not just from the industry, but even from Macy's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
You got me hype.
It's all good. It's all good. You know, and like I said, I mean, we talked a lot about this on the previous show, but I do have a couple questions that I do want to get into here because I know we don't have a whole lot of time with you. Okay. So one of the main things is, for sure. That's the one question I wanted to ask. Why? Okay, because I know that some people are probably asking this too. Your lawsuit, specifically your lawsuit. Why did you decide to do it now? Why not back then? Why right now?
Well, I answered part of that by talking about fear, but also after a year, you don't get to go into court. Right. I realize that now, but also, again, the state of mind at the time was not run to court, run to the police, etc. Not only that, he had total control of the industry that I was in as an entertainment entrepreneur. So coming after Diddy or in any way or capacity could get you hurt or shut down. And so, I mean, I got a call from my best friend at the time. His name is Steve Giuliano. God bless him. He's passed now. But he owned all the nightclubs in New York. But he brought me up in the game, Pascal. And when I say he brought me up, like he taught me the club business. And I got a call from him when things were hot between me and Puffy. And he said, look, I want, what's going on with you and Puff? And I told him, and it's a story relating to CCNY and the whole thing that I mentioned on your show, right? And he called me out of the blue. He says, look, I think you should stop. And this is like my best friend. So when he said stop and he had all the power in New York, I just did, you know, and Steve Giuliano, like he had that whole Italiano mafioso kind of feel. Not that he wasn't mafia, but the way he did business was mafia, you know. So long story short, I pulled back. So here we are, close to 30 years later, and this man, he's not only showing his fangs, but you all are seeing every day, every minute in this trial who he was. He's telling you who he was. So answering your question, Pascal, is actually being answered in court, right? But also, when he got arrested, I felt like, oh, the gloves are off. I'm ready to go. And then to find out that I could file. So I had and then of course I had all of the legal ease now because I had access to the internet, and we didn't have that back then. We didn't have access to, I have legal friends now. Like I'm now an official writer. Like I've been writing, I have over 200 books now. So I've been writing for years, been featured in ABC World News, New York Times, all that stuff. And so I've been writing for years. And so that said, I'm an authority, right? Not just on the culture, but on this MFer. I'm an authority on him because I know where he comes from. I came from Mount Vernon, New York. I know the streets he danced in. We have numerous mutual friends, right? Like, and so here we are to this day. And I decided, hey, I feel comfortable now with telling my story. And look, I've written a lot of books, and so a lot of books came out before this book. So I just felt ready. I felt empowered. I felt free to be able to tell my story. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not able to. All of his victims don't have the writing power, don't have the the connections, the relationships, the knowledge of how to put a book out. And so I use my my inert skill sets and told my story. And as a result, all of the press and all of that happened, you know, being on these big platforms. And thank you, because you helped me amplify my story as well.
Of course.
And but you know, let me keep it real, Pascal.
Shoot.
I didn't get your attention because all of the people, I don't see your chat right now, but there's a lot of people in your chat, right? And so you don't see it all because you're busy speaking, right? You probably have mods now and things, but back then you probably didn't have a mod say, hey, Pascal, you should listen to this guy, right? So I paid $5 to be heard on your platform because it highlights your comment. And when you saw my comment, the night Puff tried to kill me, you said, wait a minute, let me research this. We don't research, Pascal, but you did. And when you research, you realize, oh my God, wait a minute. Black Enterprise did a story about this cat. And now these other people did a story about this cat. And so paying that little $5 started the momentum of me getting my story told before I filed my lawsuit, right? And then I realized I could file a lawsuit, and so I did. And I got some, Ariel Mitchell, we were talking. She, at one point, I wanted her to take the case. Tony Busby took my case at some point, because when I saw the Tony Busby sort of proclamation and him putting the phone number out there, I was like, oh, let me get on the phone. And so I called and I told them my case. They said, hey, we'll take your case. But then something felt off for me. And so I decided to pull back from Busby. This is before we all realized that, wait, he's not who he professes to be. You know, I saw him, okay, he was in the military. I was in the military. Let's go, let's get it. But it didn't work out that way. So I pulled out and I went and filed on my own, right? And so this is where we're at. So I filed on my own. I had to fight those attorneys. I fought them on my own. I didn't have money. I didn't have the legalese, but I studied. I'm a student. I'm a steward of words. And so I studied it. I realized I could file. I didn't need all this money, all this big attorneys, and I did. And so I was really, they didn't even want to let my case in the door, Pascal.
What it sounds like to me is that like you fought tooth and nail to get where you're at right now, which is, I think, a really amazing thing. But I mean, of course, so far he's in trial right now, right? He's in trial. It is a very interesting trial, to say the least. What do you think? Do you think Diddy is cooked? Do you think Diddy has a fighting chance? What are your thoughts? How is prosecution doing so far? Because they're going to be wrapping up tomorrow, wrapping up on Monday. So what are your thoughts on that so far? Is he cooked or not?
I'm confused about KK. I'm very confused about her. I'm also confused about the shooting that took place at the recording studio in Los Angeles. We know now that he had control of the police. That is a fact. We also know he's violent. That is a fact, right? So even a judge had cited him as being violent. We also know, if you watch The Fall of Diddy, you'll see the driver was talking about how Diddy tried to, he did try to pay him off to take his side in the Club New York case. And there's also document to prove that he paid a lot of witnesses to come out of the blue, say, hey, I was in the nightclub and I saw that Diddy didn't do it. And so we know he's a control freak and he likes to control the narrative. So I say all of that to say, he tried to do that dance again here in federal court. It does not work. They caught him time and again trying to control the narrative, right? In prison, he tried to control the narrative before it got to trial, right? When they did the random sweep of his cell and they found the notebooks. He tried it with, we know, the jury, trying to sway the jury with his, what's up? We know about that. We also know so I don't need to go over the whole case, but you see who he is. There's no reason for me to try to explain to you who he is. You have to just be savvy and knowledgeable that this guy is a control freak. But I'm confused why, with all of what going on, they're talking so much about baby oil. Why did you not bring this cat into the courtroom who got shot by him back at that recording studio?
Yeah.
When he pushed it into the street, tried to get the police to leave it out of the studio. That I'm confused about. KK, I'm confused. Like, okay, so Homeland Security called me. I guess it's okay to talk about that now. And they wanted.
So you had a conversation with Homeland Security? Wait, what?
That's right. They called me. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. They called me. And hey, we know about your story. Can you tell us your story? I guess they were trying to consider, should I be a part of this criminal trial? And so I told them, go ahead.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why didn't they bring you in? They brought in everybody. Here's the thing, though. It doesn't make any sense because there's so many other people that could have been brought in, like you just said. It's like you're talking about baby oil and body fluid stained on the floor and stuff like that. But it's like, wait a second, what about KK, which would have been a huge person to bring in? What about you, who was chased down throughout the city of New York with his
not only that,
goons?
I had witnesses.
It just doesn't make any. Yep. It just doesn't make any sense that they would go out of their way to, not bring in the heavy hitters that were.
If you're going to have a trial, Pascal, you should be throwing the whole kitchen sink at this dude, right? I would think. And the other thing is, I have witnesses. I'm like, like legitimate. Lance Calfee was security for people like Lady Gaga and all these other kinds of things. So Lance was my security that night when they ambushed us. He just wasn't packing. And so the point is like we were ambushed. I mean, I could have lost my life that night. And so that's why I wrote that book. And so so when you ask me about the trial and what I'm seeing now, I am one of his first victims. That's number one. Number two, I get him. I understand him. I see his progress. I see how he earned his unfair advantage in the game of music and entertainment. I see how he needed a mentor. I see his family problems, his family issues. I see the family he came from. I see the gang affiliations he had. I saw all of that stuff. But at the time, I wasn't who I am now. I'm unafraid and unfiltered right now. I don't know if you feel that.
Right, right.
So the point is like I'm a different person now than I was then. And so yeah, I'm in the history books. I'm a very small portion of who Diddy is, right? But I'm part of his ecosystem. There's a lot of people that are making money off of Diddy right now. A lot of people. You see him out front of the courthouse. There's not only the wannabe newsmakers, but there's the real newsmakers or official newsmakers. There's the streamers. Just being in the courtroom, seeing all the people that are there, they're there because so a lot of them are financially connected to this cat, whether you're the family, the mom, the son, the Charlucci. I've known Charlucci for decades. Charlucci is the guy that you see free Diddy, you see him walking in with everybody.
Yeah.
And when I saw him at the courthouse back in October, I was like, yo, Charlucci, what's up? He used to come by my dad's club when he was running behind Jodeci. So right. Charlucci is the cat who runs behind people. He's not the cat that was by Diddy's side every moment of the day, every year from back in the day. He's not that guy.
I just think that the guy is like on his payroll. That's just what I truly think.
Thank you. Thank you.
But the thing is like, and of course he doesn't want to lose that money. And I'm sure Diddy's paying him pretty damn good. But
even if he's not giving him official coin, just being connected to him is a spillage that you can't deny. You get other deals, you get other relationships. Look, the man has been on ABC News because of his relationship to Diddy. So there's other things that are related to, the come up besides just cash. You understand? So yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, but then so you were interviewed by you were interviewed by Homeland Security. Did they ever explain to you like why they decided not to bring you in for testimony or for this trial?
Not only that, I contacted them after, when this actually went to trial. It's like, guys, I'm 10 toes down, ready to go. Like, you got the right one, Maybe they felt that I wasn't the guy, I'd done time in prison. I mean, back in the day, maybe I'm not their model witness, and now I'm seeing.
But here's the thing, though. You see Jane Doe and you see Cassie, and both of them are extremely, extremely flawed. And they're up there on the stand, and they're allegedly victims of Diddy. You went through what you went through, so that doesn't make any sense. Like you were saying before, it doesn't make any sense that they have all of these people that were literally like right next to him or actual victims of Diddy, and they haven't even scratched the surface of the laundry list of witnesses and victims of the diddler. It just blows my mind. So that's why I keep wondering, is prosecution
part of the
doing a solid? Are they doing a solid enough job presenting a solid case to the jury, or are they not? Right.
Well, everybody, not just me. I think we all see what it is. We all see now that they just needed to connect all of his dirty deeds, no pun intended, to crimes related to the RICO. And they got him smoking gun on a number of situations. They got him on the trafficking. That's no question. Flying people in, whether you used to do it and get away with it, whether you did it as a commercial business, flying people in on the traffic is trafficking, and not just flying them in, but flying them in, paying them, and having SA, all that stuff. That's trafficking. Number two, they got him on the bribery or the extortion. He tried to pay the mom. Then when he realized that was the wrong thing or he tried to get money from the mom, right? Then when he realized that was the wrong thing to do, they took the money back, or they gave the money back, but it's too late. You already got footprints in the sand on that. So that was an extortion. Also, the extortion with the tape, right? With regard to the hotel tape, like that's written in stone. So he needs 2 predicate acts, right? And 2 of them can't overlap. Like you can't say he did extortion here and he did extortion there. You need 1 predicate act to say extortion. So he's got extortion, he's got trafficking. He's also got kidnapping. He's got kidnapping. He took
Cassie.
not was it Cassie, and also the other girl,
Capricorn Clark.
Capricorn Clark, right? So twice with the kidnapping. So
Right.
you've got predicate acts. You only have to prove 2, but he's got 3 that were shown. And then not only that, yes, this was all supported by his money and his business. So they showed you the trail of revenue and how he paid for it all. So he's got all of the ways and means by which he has committed, RICO as it relates to the federal laws. So I don't need to tell you the law. All you need to do is listen to all of the legal judges, the lawyers, the critiques. They are all telling you what it is. Look, the dude can't really walk the streets without being one of the worst human beings on the planet Earth, next to Dahmer. And so this is he's got. I pray that he becomes a better man. They were asking me, what do you want to see as an outcome? I pray that he becomes a better man. I don't care if it's in prison, out of prison. Of course, we want him in prison because we want him to pay for what he did to all these people.
Yeah.
But I want for everybody to become a better man, because there's no coming back from being the devil. I don't know, so is he the devil now? I don't know, because I know he did all of this stuff in the last, few decades, right? Is he that way now? I don't know. I don't know. You got to talk to that Lord about that.
You gotta have a whole that's a long conversation with the Lord.
So
I will say that.
Let me give you the update on the case. I need to be rightful on that. So, again, it's an uphill battle. I want to say I lost the case against Diddy because of the time that has passed. The judge in the case has given a ruling to say that he didn't feel that there was enough tolling in my case. Tolling means like Diddy constantly sending his goons after me every year, all year for 30 years. Mm-hmm. He also didn't feel that Lance Calfe's testimonial was not strong enough. Okay, hey, look, at the end of the day, I had the wherewithal to appeal this. But I had to think, Pascal, where is my peace? Where is my energy best placed? This man has literally shown the world who he is. We all know now. He's likely never to do business in the entertainment industry. He's not going to step on any of those big stages anymore. I know that. I know that the industry still fears him. I don't know if you watched the BET Awards the other day. I did. Folks is scared to laugh. They still scared to laugh because he doesn't just have a physical control or financial control. His also the ties that bind. There's a lot of ties that bind. There's a lot of money involved there. Like he had his hands in a lot of different pots. People are afraid to speak because they don't want to mess up their bag. They don't want to mess up their relationship with the connector between them and Diddy. They don't want to mess up the relationship with the company between them and Diddy. There is some strong people. There's some weak people, Pascal. And not for nothing, but money is the strongest. And if money is what makes you, pays your bills and allows you to perform or allows you to have relationships, so I get it. And I'm not mad at them. But I'm here I told my story. I got an opportunity, a window to tell my story. I'm good. I'm good. Now I'm good. I get to write the film now. I get to put the film out now. I get to do other things. People know who I am. They feel my heart. They understand. Like, I don't know if you saw, I ran up on Mark, the attorney. Diddy's attorney when I was in New York just a few weeks ago. And he was leaving the courthouse. It was interesting because I filmed it. It's up on my tickety-tock. I says, I don't know if you know me, Mark, and I'm walking with him. He's leaving the courthouse. I'm not threatening. I'm backed up. I got my camera rolling. And I'm like, look, I don't know if you know me, but I'm Gilmore versus Combs. I'm the guy that he attacked and ambushed in the streets of New York and shot at. And I told him again, you know how I do, Pascal. You know your client is a monster and a predator, and he's never leaving prison. You tell him Gilmore told you. Tell him Gilmore said that, and I told him, and he didn't have nothing to say. He just he's walking, doing his whole walk home. And I'm not trying to be a threat to the attorneys. I get it; they have to look out for our rights. But I felt like if there's any way to get a message to Combs, it would be through his attorney. And if there's any way, and also I filmed it, so it's out there for perpetuity. So I'm done. I'm still doing interviews. I'm still doing that thing because people want to know, I'm the guy. You're the guy that got away. You're the guy that he didn't actually, he shot at you, but you didn't catch a bullet. He chased you down through the streets of New York, but you didn't catch an L. So yeah, I am the guy that got away. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I've gotten to tell my story. Whatever comes with that, the naysayers, the Diddy fans, I'm good. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm good,
Yeah,
Pascal. Relationships with you, relationships with Banfield, relationships with ABC World News. I have people on the cell phone now that I could call, so it's
right. Yeah, no, I get it. I think with what you were saying earlier, I think, obviously, yes, you're getting an opportunity to get your story out there, letting people know what happened to you, saying that you are a victim of somebody that is just this bad. To answer what you were, to just back up a little bit and say and talk about what you said, tap in on what you said earlier. I don't think there is any coming back from this for Diddy. I really don't. I don't think. I don't mean to say it like I do think that everybody has an opportunity to change their ways, to turn everything around and be a better person. But this is decades of bad, devilish things that he's been doing for a long, long time. So there's a part of me, honestly, that I'm like, yeah, any other person, anybody can get reformed. Anybody can go to prison, come back and be a better person. True, for sure. But with all this stuff, I feel like I don't know if I could believe him. What I mean by that is if he's sitting there going after the Cassie video comes out, he's like, oh, I'm so ashamed. I found therapy. I found God. I found rehab. And it's like, really, bro?
But a day ago, you were like, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. It was a witch hunt and she's a liar and all that stuff. But then even when he got arrested, there was all kinds of paraphernalia. He was setting up, he was doing freak offs even up to the day that he got arrested. So for me, I'm like, listen, man, I don't know.
Corrected?
I don't know if I can believe.
Don't get me wrong.
Hold on.
I don't want, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on. I don't think I can really believe 110% anything Diddy says from this point on. That's what I was just trying to say. Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I want him to be a better man, but in the can.
Yeah.
that might be the next song I do. I want you to be a better man, but in the can.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I love humanity. I love human beings, and I call the monster what it is. He is a monster, right? But I am team Cassie. I'm team victims. All of that. I am not team Diddy. I want to see everybody do better in their lives. That's just where I am in my life. That's where I'm at peace with that. The fact that I lived past this dude, that I went to court and gave it my all without a legal team, without the finances. I was able to bring it as far as I could. So that's it, and that's all, Pascal. I'm like, but no, by no means do I want him to be under the jail. I want him. I think when it comes to victims, I think that the law, the karma is a bitch, as they say, right? And I feel like he's gonna get what he's got coming from the big man upstairs. I feel like he's gonna get what he's got coming. I don't know what that horror looks like, but it's coming. And he's going to, first of all, be clear. He's going to catch this fade in court. I want to be 100% clear. Number two, he's going to catch a fade. He's going to be found guilty. To what
Of
degree,
something.
I
Right.
don't know.
He'll be
Right?
found guilty on at least 2 charges, but I don't know
Yeah.
about the.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if he's gonna
I
get
don't.
off like Young
Yeah,
Thug.
I don't really
know.
know. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get off on all charges. No, I think he's going to be found guilty on some, not all. The RICO and the racketeering charges are definitely a hard one to.
But Pascal,
It's just a
even if
tough
they
one
get a
for me.
mistrial, I don't think he could handle the time that he's going to still have to do while he's waiting for that to go back to trial. So like he wants to get out now. That level of anticipation in him is killing him right now.
Oh,
And I
absolutely.
love it. I love it. This is really the worst you could do to a man, stringing him up for the whole world to see, naked for the world to see. Like, it's embarrassing for you and me as a black man to see, like, this is what you do as a human
Bad.
being to women or to other people. This is horrible, right? But on the other hand, to watch him get strung up like he is and in a straitjacket, he can't make any facial moves in the courtroom. He can't, like, he's constrained. Like, I'm loving this. Because this is the pain that you brought to so many people, so many dozens and dozens of people, maybe hundreds of people throughout the years. You deserve everything you're feeling right now and then some.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting when everything gets done. From my understanding, they're saying a few updates right now as well. They're basically saying that the defense is hinting at possibly wrapping by their case by Wednesday of next week. So even it seems like their list of witnesses has shortened down even more. So again, this is going to be very interesting that as soon as the middle of next week, we could be going into, or they could be going into jury deliberation. So this could be a quick in and out type of thing. This could be a days long wait for jury to come back, basically saying guilty or not guilty. It's going to be a very interesting thing for sure. But
I hope they don't get rid of juror number 7, because juror number 7 is an Asian cat, and that will and then the person that would fill his space is a black man. And so the thought here is to diversity on the jury. And we already found the plan. The plan is gone. He's gone. The guy from Jersey.
That we know of, right?
Yeah. He the plan. But and I'm not saying nothing allegedly. He can't come after me now. I'm good. But I'm just saying, like, we want diversity on the jury. We want fairness. We want to see this guy held accountable for his dirty, nasty deeds. Even though the dirty, nasty is not illegal, we want to see him held accountable by the standards of the law, right? And not for nothing, but if he's not guilty, I want to see what that looks like. I really want to see what that looks like.
I mean, a world with Diddy out innocent would be very interesting, but I feel like it would be back to business as usual. He'd be able to use this and spin it. His PR team, his people would be able to, the king and queens of spin would be able to spin this around and make it seem like, okay, he's been acquitted. He's found not guilty. He'll be able to use this in some sort of way to catapult his career even more to even greater heights. But we'll see about that. But
hey, Pascal, are there any questions from your people?
Unfortunately, I got to wrap up.
Okay, do it. Okay,
but,
no problem.
But that's what I was basically trying to say.
Okay.
Is there anything else going on with you? You know what I mean? Real quick, anything else going on with you?
Yeah, I'm working with a certain influencer trying to get his book done, and then also I'm doing the film. The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me, so I'm actually taking my book into that, and I'm just turning this whole campaign and telling my story into an anti-bullying campaign. That's my exit, because I want to because what Diddy did throughout the years is he bullied people. He was the big bully from when he was younger, as just coming in as Sean Combs or Puffy to now Diddy. Like, we see him grow up as a bully and a monster. And so I want kids to be caught early. I want kids to be caught early about how not to behave, that no, acting bad is not a good thing. I want kids to learn that there is a way to overcome the bully, even in the David versus Goliath situation. And so, yeah, I've written books for that so that I can bring it into the schools, and maybe I could save the world from another Diddy, if that makes sense, you know. But I could also save a lot of potential victims by getting at the core of the problem. Also, we need mentorship, because I talked about that earlier. So I want to mentor. I want to, like, I'm 60. What do I have? You know, I have my history of writing books. I have my history of just being a cultural critic, but I really want to bring it home and try to make a difference for those next generations.
I mean, I think that's really lovely, man. I think that's a beautiful thing. We need more of those kind of programs, period. You know what I mean? Regardless if it's inspired by Diddy or not, you know, like we do need those kinds of programs out here for our kids, for sure. So that's really, really dope. Let me know about the movie. Let me know about the film. Very interested to see what happens with that. You know, obviously you must be writing the script, I'm assuming.
No,
right?
I'm actually creating it all in AI. I don't know.
Whoa.
I've already produced a number of short films with AI. AI is the new film industry. Oh my God, it's a whole new world to be able to sit and take my ideas, and all I need is images, and then all I need to do is generate video from the images. That's what you do with AI now. And then also there's the sound and oh my God, it's such a world. I'm coming from producing TV now. It's just enabled. It's opened up an entire world. I don't need the financing anymore. I have the relationships. I have the film distributors. So all I need to do is be 10 toes down in what I'm doing and basically bring it to market. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's some short films out there now, Pascal. All I need to do is look up Relentless Aaron. RelentlessAaron.net is my website. I'm also everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook as Relentless Aaron. So if you all, I love if you can go to Amazon and get the book, The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me, because it's not just about the night in question. It really does talk about my background and my family background, and how this guy tried to erase me, and what he stood to erase. So I matter. My voice matters. All those other victims' voices matter. I want to see all those folks have books. I want to see them all tell their story. If I can be of help that way, I will. But that's me in a nutshell, without being long-winded. Thank you so much for what you've done, because you are the reason I got on Good Morning America. You are the reason I got on Banfield, Law and Crime, USA Today. It's really you, dude. I really thank you for me being able to tell my story.
Of course, man. I mean, I'm glad we were able to connect and get your story out there. I mean, I think that's what's important, is getting the stories out there and getting the information, as much information as we can. And your story was crazy, heartbreaking, but crazy at the same time. And I think that part is important, to be able to bring that story out there. That is not just, and I'm not sitting here saying that SA victims are not important, but it's nice to see, or it's good to hear the other side of other types of victims from Diddy. That it's more of a cornucopia of different types of attacks and different types of crimes that he was breaking, other than just him, doing freak offs and making women do things against their will, coercing them and harassing them into doing these kinds of things. But again, DeWitt, I appreciate you coming on. Of course, you always have a platform here to tell your story, of course. And of course, I look forward to having you back on here in the near future, maybe after there's a verdict. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, we'll see. But see, that's the thing. We'll see about that. It might be a few things, and then it'll be him in jail for like a decade. You know what I mean? And that might be nothing.
Hey, he should have took that. He should have took that when they offered it. He should have, because he could have at least salvaged the world knowing the total menace that he is. Like, we have details now about his family has to live in shame for perpetuity.
Forever.
For his daughters, he made his daughters sit through this shit.
That's insane, right?
Like who does that? Oh, an egomaniac does that.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
true.
Yeah, you're right.
Something real quick, real quick, and then I gotta let you go, unfortunately. But somebody said this, and this is a good point. Stacy said, send your video, your book. I'm sorry, send your book to 50 Cent. You should.
Let me tell
He'll
you
promote
something.
it. At least he'll put it up there, being like, "Oh snap!" You know what I mean?
50 Cent is so disconnected from reality. Like here's a guy that I was in his office. I have a book deal with him. I'm one of his original authors. We've taken photos together. I'm sitting on the pool table in his office with LL Cool J and him. Like this is like known. Like you could research Relentless Aaron 50 Cent and you'll see 3 billion impressions, you know. So I was managed by Chris Lighty, all that stuff. And so I was in the incubus.
Wait. Hold on. Chris Lighty. This is the same guy who lost his life on the balcony and all that. Sorry for the left turn.
Not on the balcony.
Sorry for the left turn. Or not. I thought he was found on the balcony, but
found on the balcony. Oh.
Yeah, he was found on the balcony, gone. Right. I gotta ask you though. I gotta ask you this. Do you think the Chris Lighty situation was a self-deletion situation, or do you think that was a hit out on Chris Lighty? Sorry, gotta ask you.
Yeah, the jury's out on that. I knew Chris. I was there. I was in his office. Him, Mona Scott. Like I was the only author in the Violator camp. So I got to be the fly on the wall.
Right.
And Chris didn't appear to be the type of guy that would take his own life. You know, but I want to say that mental health is a powerful thing. We've seen it with Anthony Bourdain and Tom Scott and Robin Williams. Like, why do people that seem to be okay all of a sudden they're not okay? So I'm not calling it either way, but there's two sides of the story, and it's just strange. I loved Chris, love his family. I hate what happened to him. I pray that if something was related to Diddy, because we see Diddy there's a lot of bodies in his wake,
no doubt,
and he tried to take my life. So I know. So and of course Kim Porter. So I pray that if it doesn't come out in the wash, that it comes out in the rinse.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
you were
you're
just
good.
telling a story. I just wanted to know about that because I know
what the
his
hell I
name.
was saying.
You were just talking about being in the pool room, sitting on the pool table.
Chris
Lighty.
So that was back when 50 was super hot. He's super hot now. But I ran into him here in Georgia a few years ago, and I'm like, 50. I brought my book that I have with him. It's Derelict. That's the name of the book. The book that I talked about writing about the Puffy, and I brought the book and I showed it to him. I said, 50, it's relentless. He's like, oh man, I gotta read that book. Like when he said that, and there was the disconnect. Like I understand the world that he's in. It's a blizzard of people trying to get in his pockets, trying to be a part of the 50 Cent, conundrum.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no making sense of it all. It's just like a blizzard. So he's not intentional enough for me to even be a part of what I'm doing. Like he's not. He can amplify me. Oh hell yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. The power of 50 is powerful. It still to this day affects me in positive ways financially. But no, I'm not. I get better results in other ways.
I had to ask, you know what I mean? I had to ask really quick because, of course, it's a good point. He has been posting up a lot of memes and stuff like that revolving around this whole trial. You did just write a book the night Puff tried to kill me. So, I mean, clearly I would
and also been on all the biggest platforms. Like if he hasn't
talking about
seen
this
it now. Right. So if he hasn't seen it now, if his people haven't seen it now, I don't think he ever will. That's my.
No, it's okay. It's okay though.
It is what it is.
I mean, hey, you're finding your success and you're finding your way out here, getting your voice out here, getting the word out here about your book, and then now you're going to be putting it together a movie, which is going to be, I'm sure, going to be very riveting and exciting. So I can't wait for that end result when it's out and ready, when it's ready to go.
But again, DeWitt, thank you so much for being on here, man. I really do appreciate it. And we'll be talking here very soon, man. You keep, you stay up, keep your head up, and keep writing those books, man. All right.
Thank you, Pascal. Appreciate you. Thank you to all the Pascal tribe. Keep supporting this man. He's a very important voice in the culture, in the world. Be blessed.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you soon.
One.
So again, shout out to DeWitt. Thank you so much to DeWitt for being on. It really means a lot. Of course, like I said, we're going to be having a whole lot of names, whole lot of people coming through, being a part of the conversation as we start to wrap up the trial. I mean, there's a lot that's been going on. We got a lot of lawyers coming up in the near future, a lot of therapists, a lot of experts, etc. There's going to be a lot coming up here, guys. And I can't wait. I can't wait to share with you guys, conversate with you guys, and bring in these amazing people to talk about this trial and then some, because let's not forget, we also have the Brian Kohberger Idaho 4 trial coming up here in August. Okay. Don't know what's going to happen in the month of July, unless it's, while we have jury watch, right? Verdict watch, I'm sorry, for Diddy. There's plenty of other things that we're keeping an eye on, like the war that we might be going into, which, by the way, Trump said that he'll have a decision in the next 2 weeks. I don't know, which is the wildest answer to the general public I've ever seen. Okay, the burning question is, are we going into war, right? And Trump's like, I'll let you guys know in the next two weeks. Huh? What kind of answer is that? So you mean to tell me that bombs are going to be dropping over there in the overseas in Israel, Iran for the next 2 weeks? You're just going to sit there and let it cook? You sure? Something seems weird. That seems weird. I know that's a little bit of a left turn, but clearly that's something that we are talking about and covering and keeping an eye on. And of course, if there's any breaking news on that, we're going to be talking about that too. But then, of course, we still have to talk about Fat Joe and his crazy lawsuit, $20 million lawsuit that just got dropped by one of his hype men / security guards, which is absolutely insane. So I might be doing that a little bit later on. I don't know, probably like tomorrow morning or something of that sort. But I don't know yet. Trying to figure all of that out right now as we speak. But again, y'all, that is some that's crazy stuff. Okay. That's some crazy stuff that's going on too. But nonetheless, okay, huge shout out to DeWitt for being on the show. Please go check him out. Pinned to the top of the chat is the link of the interview that I had with him, our very first interview that we had together about 8 months ago, talking about the night that Diddy apparently tried to take his life. It is a pretty crazy one. It's pretty emotional, but it's riveting as hell. So I highly recommend you guys going and checking that out. Okay. Yeah, the Fat Joe situation, Rico. Yeah, he's some same situations, freak offs of his own kind, etc. And the more and more I'm hearing about these things, I'm like, the more and more I'm realizing that it seems like the industry is just filled with these kinds of freak offs, for lack of a better term. Okay, that I wouldn't call them straight up freak offs, but Diddy had freak offs, but it's the best way you can explain them, right? That they would have these crazy freak offs out of nowhere. I feel like it was just a staple thing that people in the industry do now, or did at least. I don't know if they still do them. They probably stopped now because of all the stuff that's going on, but still, it's insane to think that all these people are just out here bumping uglies like they have been. Some wild stuff, y'all. Some wild, wild stuff. So, again, we're keeping an eye on a lot of different things that are going on. We're going to talk about those things as they continue coming out. Okay, yeah, buck breaking. We talked about that. BNOC, yeah. Okay, yeah. Buck breaking. Okay, that's what they were doing with to the allegedly to Jane Doe and to Cassie. Okay, that's what Diddy was doing. So I'm sure there's a lot of other people shoot. Look at Kanye West and Bianca. Okay, let's not get that, y'all. Again, it's absolutely insane that this is just a staple thing. Now it's coming out that it's just being a thing. Okay. It's a thing now. Okay. Which is insane. Insane. So, of course, we're going to be keeping an eye on things as things continue to percolate. All right. Because it is percolating out here in these streets. All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we definitely have not forgotten about Shannon Sharp and his black pleather straps. We haven't forgotten about that. Okay. Most definitely, we have not forgotten about that. But guys, for now, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Yes, it's a little bit shorter of a show, but at the same time, you know, they ended early today, which is fine. I'm looking forward to a nice, hopefully relaxing weekend. We'll see if things go off like a powder keg. We're going to talk about it. Be on the lookout for it, okay, guys? All right. But, guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms, please. And thank you if you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Rumble. Please hit that follow or that like button, however you need to do it, so that this channel is in the algorithm for you. Okay? Follow, like. Okay? Don't forget, hit that subscribe button here if you're watching on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Go to my second channel, because there's going to be clips popping up on the second channel here very soon. So go over to the Pascal Show clips. Subscribe over there, please and thank you. Subscribe. All right? Hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random, okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com, all right? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Appreciate all y'all for being here. And we'll be talking very, very soon. Stay safe out there. Have a great weekend. Hopefully it's a relaxing one. And we'll talk soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.